love what you do.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
KPNW, good morning. Might have a situation still there on Highway 58, milepost 31, 4 miles west of Oak Ridge. Got a crash, had that reported last hour, and it'd be great if that was rectified and okay there at milepost 31, but we have no way of knowing. If you come through there, let us know. Crash has highway traffic restricted to one lane. Again, 4 miles west of Oak Ridge. Anything else that you should see or experience? Not wishing it upon you, but if you come across it, let us know, pass it on, and we'll let the other 14 know. 541-485-KPNW. We're set to be 5769 at 627.
And look at us. Here we are. It's very foggy this morning. Man, there are some areas out there on I-5 where it is, the pea soup cliche comes to mind. But I was thinking this morning it was more like a bisque. So if you're going to go out there this morning, expect crab bisque style fog. Yeah, that works. The only thing we don't have is the big spotlight with the Fresnel lenses. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, we need to get one of those up on the roof.
Right there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Then we could go up the spiral staircase up and then check the light out and talk sailors to talk.
In our fantasy world,
it would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Things are awesome.
Yeah, things are awesome in our fantasy.
We have an outdoor patio with French doors right there, and you can go out and do the show out in the. Although today, a little crisp.
How is its own fully stocked breakfast bar? It's very nice.
Did you come across any ice? No,
I didn't come across any ice. No.
Okay.
No.
All right, good. 38 degrees currently here at 1120 KPNW. It's going to, before you know it, it's going to be happening. So I guess football's still king in America, and it could be the fact that, you have one.
We like seeing people hit each other.
One half of the World Series lineup was, a major metro, and the other, not so much. In fact, they're talking about the fact that, 500,000 people showed up at their congratulatory celebration yesterday, and that's like twice what live and breed in downtown, the metro downtown Kansas City.
So they're actually counting breeding pairs downtown Kansas City? That's nice.
23 million people. The number one TV show, Denver beating the Green Bay Packers. Let's see. Thursday Night Football, which is caught on CBS. Okay, so that's number 3, 17.5 million viewers. Down there at number 4.
The World Series?
Game 5 of the world. Game 5, 17.2 million viewers. So people finally tuned in to see if the Royals could do it. And then all the way down at number 7, Game 1 of the World Series. The Republican debate was number 8 on CNBC, bringing them big numbers, 14
The only
million.
numbers they've had this year. I think that station averages about 300,000 or 400,000 a day. I'm not exaggerating. So that was a huge windfall for them. Oh, can we please have a debate? Please make us relevant for a day. And then they become irrelevant again.
When do you think they're going to get another debate?
I don't know. Probably the Democrats would love it. Probably give them one. I don't think they'll get another Republican debate anytime soon.
Yeah. Oh, the series premiere of Supergirl attracted 13 million viewers.
Oh, good.
Watched a little bit of that to see if Sid could watch it, and it's probably not a... it's an NFS.
Not family, what, safe?
Not for Sid.
Oh.
Yeah. Everything's all, fun and, get the little romance and everything, and then they throw the bad guys in there. So we'll be sticking with Doc McStuffins. Good old Doc.
Does she have villains? Doc McStuffins?
Oh, her villains are...
Like E. coli or something like that?
Stuffed toys that have problems, and she basically... The villain, the challenge is her trying to fix the... whoever came up with the idea for this storyline, it's actually brilliant. Because you can kind of parlay a fear of going to the doctor's office into a discussion and involve Doc McStuffin.
Oh, nice.
So, anything where you can take, actual practical and throw it in there. Hey, Doc went to the doctor's office and didn't have a meltdown. Anyway, I see you stamping some stuff out there. Are you working on any hot news lead? Anything
I'm just seeing
out?
if this computer works.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Just doing a little beta testing to see if there's any computer in this building that actually will get through a newscast. That's pretty much where I'm at right now.
And how are we looking?
How are we looking?
With this one?
Questionable. So one thing I was going to mention, the Chipotle story. All right, have you been following the Chipotle, the E. coli outbreak story?
Uh-huh.
Okay, the one aspect of the story that I keep hearing and I keep thinking about is they talk about what the symptoms are. All right. And they say that while we have 12 cases here in Oregon, we very well may have more because some people just, won't go to the doctor.
Right.
Okay, the symptoms are vomiting, all right, which... All right, there are some times when, you get nauseous and that happens, but you don't go to a doctor for it. Then the other thing is loose bowels, all right? Sometimes that happens. You don't go to... But it also includes bleeding while you're having the loose bowels. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but when those two things happen concurrently, I'm pretty much trying to figure out if the doctor can squeeze me in this afternoon. Because when nature calls, it shouldn't be calling with platelets. Who, in their right mind, has that happen and just says, oh, okay, and doesn't go to a doctor? I mean, any time that a normal biological function, whether it's sneezing or coughing or you're picking your ear, or, your eyes are watering and there's blood involved, after my minor coronary and self-defibrillation, I'm going to go see a medical professional who can tell me that, yeah, that's something that probably we need to take a look at.
Okay, on one hand, you got the hypochondriac who reacts at everything. On the other hand, you got people that, can kind of self-diagnose it. Oh, it's probably just, hemorrhoids. Or, come up with their own, or it'll cure itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you've come across people that are non-reactionary and they just, they're not going to the doctor.
Well, under those cases, with that scenario, when there's blood involved, that's generally nature's way of saying, oh my God, go see a doctor! Just saying.
Could we almost count that as a public service announcement?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right, Danny O'Connell. Next, what is Danny going to talk about?
Danny is going to talk about health care. Kind of what we were just talking
about. Stand by. It's 1120 KPNW.
Let Midgley's help keep your family warm this winter. Midgley's carries the best wood stoves available, including Lopi stoves, which are made right here in the Pacific Northwest. Lopi stoves are rated the cleanest burning, and they're the only company to feature wood stoves with the ease of electronic ignition. Midgley's is your Lopi dealer. Professional installation is available. We're at the corner of 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Check us out online at midgleys.com. Midgley's. Anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire.
CCB 161946.
Direct Eats started out as any company does, with an idea. They wanted to create a place where food lovers can discover new tastes, try new foods, shop by dietary preferences, and learn about the newest local and specialty food trends. Those things were missing from the current food space. If you want to be an expert, it took tons of time, research, and money. The Direct Eats team realized that, and they were determined to change it. Today, it's a whole new world. Direct Eats is the largest online marketplace. They deliver the best food at the best prices, guaranteed. And you don't have to live in a big city. Direct Eats goes anywhere across the continental United States. If you want to send your favorite Memphis barbecue sauce to New England, or Manhattan's best cookies sent all the way to Oregon, Direct Eats has you covered. They're redefining the way specialty foods are discovered and consumed. And if you're a natural and organic food lover, I hope you're hungry. Direct Eats will make you very happy. So forget the grocery store. Visit directeats.com now to save time and money. Shipping is always free. There's no membership fee and no minimum. This will change your life. That's directeats.com.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Terrific inventory, great prices.
Introducing the YMCA. What, you already know the why? Or so you think. Sure, you know the why for a swim, a workout, even a game of hoops. But did you know we're more than that? We're a cause. When you take your jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Take a cardio class, while kids are in an after-school enrichment program. Practice your downward-facing dog as a team practices her leadership skills. That's the why. We work with people no matter their age, income, or background and give them the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive, all with one simple goal in mind, to strengthen our community. And we've got so much more that does just that. So while you might think of the Y as that place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. Introducing the Y. We're so much more than a place. We're a cause. Visit ymca.net/more.
Your plan is to make the most out of life. That's why your plan is a Medicare Advantage plan from Pacific Source. It lets you choose from almost any doctor in the region with no deductible. Plus, you get great benefits like prescription drug coverage, protection when you travel, optional dental care, and even discounts on gym memberships. Plans start as low as $39. Pacific Source Medicare, the health plan for all of life's biggest plans. To learn more about our Medicare Advantage plans, call toll-free 888-863-3637, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Visit us online at www.medicare.pacificsource.com. Premium and benefits may change on January 1st of each year. You must continue to pay your Medicare Part B premium. The provider network may change at any time. Members will receive notice when necessary. Pacific Source Community Health Plans is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Pacific Source Medicare depends on contract renewal.
Weather every 10 minutes during the wake-up call. Count on it. News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. We have fog off and on across the valley, and temps right now are very chilly, mid to upper 30s out there with 35 in town. Now, the fog will burn off by about 11 a.m. and will lead to mostly sunny skies this afternoon as high pressure starts to move in, but highs only look to be in the mid to upper 50s out there with a high of 54 here in town. Late tonight into tomorrow morning, we are tracking an upper-level disturbance set to bring in some showers. 60% chance of that happening. You may wake up tomorrow with light rain off and on across the valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Mornings are a little different with a wake-up call.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Fog out there this morning, and it will definitely slow you down in some areas. Not sure what it's like south of the Eugene area, but I can tell you that north of Eugene, it is really, really, really foggy. So just note that you're just going to be encountering, a certain amount of fog out there this morning. And it looks like, I'm looking at this, Well, this is on 99E. You're a couple of miles south of Oregon City, but they got a major accident up there that has closed that down. I'm just taking a look at some of the areas around the state. Highway 58, as Rob mentioned a little bit earlier, we still have an issue out there at about milepost 31 that is causing some problems there, and a crash restricting one lane. That's about 4 miles west of Oak Ridge this morning, so 4 miles this side. So just be a little extra careful out there this morning and take it easy. All right, so the sign-up season has hit for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act, a.k.a. Obamacare, a.k.a. what is this? You're telling me it's going to cost me 25% more? You can call it that. We're in year 3 of the premiums. Nationally, the premiums are going to be going up an average of 7.5%. As we reported on the wake-up call, it was either yesterday morning or Monday, the prices here in Oregon going up on average about 25%. To talk about that this morning, health insurance expert, he runs Benefit Resource Group. He rejoins us on the wake-up call this morning, Danny O'Connell, here on News Radio 1120 KPNW. Danny, thanks for being with us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I'm going to just kind of speak from the Oregon side of things here for a second. Some of the highest rates we here in Oregon, like I said, on average about 25% for the what's known as the benchmark silver plan. Alaska 31%. Oklahoma is getting it the worst at 36%. What we were told was, well, Oregon had some of the lowest prices in the nation, so of course it's going to go up 25%, but the prices are still low. What say you?
Yeah, so great question. You know, number one, it's kind of hard to compare state to state because you're looking at who are they insuring and what is that population made up of. So just kind of on a national level scale, you know, if you're a 25-year-old several years ago, you could get an individual health care policy for $150 to $225 a month. Now that same policy is going to cost you $200 to $350 a month easily, just by the community rating factor alone. So what's happening is you aren't getting these younger individuals who are enrolling. You know, if you think back to 2 years ago, we saw LeBron James on national television encouraging younger people to get in. Well, they didn't. If they didn't want it at $150 to $200 or couldn't afford it at that point, you know, raising the price certainly isn't going to draw more people in.
Right.
So you then look at, well, how is our pool in our state running and with that certain insurance carrier? Then you also have taxes and fees going up every year on this plan, which is adding to the cost. So then the next component of that is if I am eligible for a subsidy, is my subsidy actually going to keep up with this increase in cost? And in 2014, 50% of the people who actually got subsidies actually owed money back. They didn't get that full cost savings.
All right, well, that was in 2014. I mean, what is the forecast for this year going into 2016?
Sure. So in 2014, there were 8 million people federally who signed up through the exchanges and got health care. Out of those 8 million, 6.5 million of them actually had prior coverage that was canceled. So you had 1.5 million net new policies. At the end of the year, they looked, and 700,000 of those were still in force, and there were over 300,000 which were canceled due to citizenship status. So for 2015, we go through, and 11 million people signed up. But with these sustained increases, and we start to see them year over year, you know, you may start to see those numbers go down unless if the federal government just starts pouring on the subsidies, which is going to mean tax increases to everybody.
One of the reasons that was also given for the 25% increase in Oregon, besides the fact that, oh, well, it was the lowest in the nation, was they were saying, well, all the insurance companies lost money on the deal. And so we needed the 25% increase to be able to at least float the insurance companies who, if you will, took it in the shorts. And this, to me, it doesn't look like this is going to be something that's going to end soon with the insurance companies going, you know what, we're really not making any money on this.
Yeah, the construct and the confines that they work under is so restrictive that you see more and more carriers getting out of the market, selling off their block of business. You're going to see more regionalized hospital systems create their own plan so that they know that people are actually paying the premiums. And as you have fewer and fewer choices, it means higher and higher costs. In Texas, Blue Cross Blue Shield took a $400 million loss on 367,000 insured lives on the individual market. So if you are buying an individual plan, here's a big tip for your listeners. You need to go and check the network. It doesn't mean that you're going to have the same network and the same access to providers that you had last year, even if you renew at the same company.
Now, when you say check the network, what's the easiest way that they can do that?
You know, just when they're shopping online is a good way. Also calling the providers if you have a specific provider to find out specifically what plans they do take and whether it's a group plan or an individual plan. A lot of times you see carriers that have multiple networks. So if you see one plan from one insurance company and you're getting different pricing on two different places, it's normally in that fine print that you have a much smaller network that you're dealing with.
Are we seeing any changes to the actual different levels themselves, the silver plan, the bronze plan, in terms of things like deductibles and co-pays and co-insurance, et cetera?
Yeah, you are seeing slight tweaks because each year they can increase the out-of-pocket. You know, up in last year it's $6,350. Now you're looking at $6,800, $6,850 for an individual. So those will continue to go up a little bit each year. And that's one of those hidden rate increases I talk about. You know, you get the premium increase, but now I've got to pay more out-of-pocket as well.
Any other things that people need to know if they're going about, re-enrolling in health care?
So in the short term for this year, what I would say is, number one, really look at your utilization. Everybody would love to have a $500 deductible, but when was the last time that you really went into the hospital? We want to protect ourselves against the big losses. So am I the individual that I live with a chronic health condition and I'm on a lot of name brand medication that I need a richer plan? Or am I somebody who, maybe has seasonal sinus infections, I take generics or I don't take anything, and to get my costs down, I may want that higher deductible, to try to balance out my budget. But really look at that. Really look at the network of providers. If you have a provider that you're working with, have that conversation of who they are contracted with, not just who they take, who they're contracted with.
One other thing. At what point does it become, and I realize that it's illegal, but at what point does it become cheaper for an individual to just go, screw it, I'm not going to get the health insurance, I'm going to pay the fine?
Well, for many people, it probably is less expensive to do that. But the problem here is that people don't realize their fine and their penalty until they do their taxes. So for last year, it's 1% of your adjusted gross household income. So people, that may be what they're expecting to pay for this year. But for 2015, it actually doubled, 2% per household member up to 6%. Well, you don't know your penalty until open enrollment's closed. So some people may be expecting this penalty, and it's actually double what it was last year. And then it's too late to sign up.
All right. Danny, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. You take care. News Radio 1120 KPNW. Danny O'Connell, health insurance expert. He runs the Benefit Resource Group. And the discussion this morning dealing with health insurance. And, oh, yeah, by the way, it's going up a lot, a whole bunch. And it's supposed to be affordable. Remember, your health insurance the costs were supposed to go down. That was one of the selling points, is that they were going to go.
Did we get that in writing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got it in writing. The president said that.
Oh,
and
okay.
The president, everything that he said, the president has said about, this, that Obamacare is true. You can keep your provider. If you like your insurance, you can keep it. I mean, when hasn't he been accurate in regards to that? I mean, anybody? Anyone?
I think you asked the question in the early part of the hour, why would somebody not go to the doctor if they had blood in their bathroom experience?
And you're saying this would be one of those cases where they wouldn't?
And I guarantee, yeah. I bet in some cases there are some people out there that are saying, you know what, unless I'm on my deathbed, I'm so in debt or, for whatever reason. I guarantee you there's people out there that have that attitude.
Rob raises his hand.
651 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Some fog out there. I checked the I-5 corridor is pretty much pea soup or bisque, whatever you want to call it.
I'm thinking a cream bisque.
Down to southern Oregon. So
Rob did the flyover just a little while ago. While we were talking to Danny, he was in the chopper.
So just be careful out there. And know that, let's see here. Let's do an updated. Oh, not my computer.
While you're doing that, eWeb is going to be turning off electricity to a section of South Eugene at about 7 o'clock this morning, so in 10 minutes. Apparently, a power pole was damaged by a vehicle last night around 3 a.m. At 28th and Willamette, and the pole was sheared off by the collision. So to replace the damaged pole, they're going to have to shut the power off to a section of South Eugene along Willamette. That includes Willamette and extends from High Street to Lincoln Street, and they figure that the power is going to be out there for several hours while they replace that pole. So that's going to affect homes, it's going to affect businesses, and it's going to affect traffic signals. So again, that is going to be along Willamette, South Eugene, from pretty much High Street to Lincoln Street. Just know that in about 10 minutes, things are going to go dark. So if you're in the shower listening, you better hurry up. Or you can do the other thing, and that is you can stay in the shower up until just about 6:59, then tell your loved one or your kids, okay, the shower's all yours. You can do that, too.
That's what you do.
I might.
Yeah. Highway 58, 4 miles west of Oak Ridge, we appear to still have the remnants of the crash and the cleanup and a delay with one lane open to traffic. Again, 4 miles west of Oak Ridge, milepost 31. All right, 6:53, News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Get instant cash back at Discount Windows.
Discount Windows is working with Energy Trust of Oregon to help you reduce energy costs and improve the comfort of your home.
Don't wait 6 to 8 weeks for a check. Make your project more affordable right now with instant savings.
We've handed out over $20,000 in instant cash incentives in just 5 months. Instant savings at Discount Windows.
Highway 99 in Junction City.
Open 7 days a week.
Instant cash incentives applies to windows installed by Discount Windows.
CCB 0018.
Northwest Burger inside the 5th Street Market features burgers so amazing they're an experience all their own. Freshly ground meat and local produce combined with the creativity of local chef Garrett Kirsch makes for a burger experience like no other. You'll get mouth-watering goodness in every single bite. Check out their menu and photos on Facebook. Northwest Burger, located in the 5th Street Market. It's not just a burger, it's an experience.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. The fact that so many people are illiterate when it comes to personal finance can be seen in the pitches you get for consumer products. Take credit card special offers. One from the Bank of America gives you 2 choices for reduced interest rates on what's called a promotional balance. Basically, this is money you borrow to pay off another card or get just by writing a check. The options are to pay a 4% fee and get 0% interest for 19 months, or pay no fee and get the loan for 22 months at 4.99%. The second one is titled No Fee, the first one Lower Rate. So how do they stack up? In rough terms, amortizing the 4% fee over 19 months has you paying an annual rate of about 2.5%. 4.99 is virtually 5% for the life of the loan, or about twice as expensive. I have no idea how many people bite on the longer, more expensive loan instead of the one that's 3 months shorter and half the price. But it must be substantial, or deals structured this way wouldn't keep showing up in my mailbox. Here's the nugget. This is an easy and cheap way to get a loan, but be careful. There are traps in these offers. Details soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Local news, local people, Holloway in London, and the wake-up call.
I want you to get up now.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
It's your money. And this is your wake-up call market report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed to higher as investors assess the latest earnings reports and economic data. Right now, the Dow is up about 13 points at 17,931. The S&P 500 is up 2.5 points at 2112, and the Nasdaq is up 15 at 5161. More than 100 companies in the S&P 500 report their earnings this week, with Facebook, MetLife, Transocean, and Qualcomm among those posting today. Of the companies that have reported so far this season, about 74% have beaten their profit estimates. Just 44% have topped sales forecasts. U.S. companies continue to add jobs. ADP reports that private employers created 182,000 positions in October. That was a little less than what was gained the month before, but it was better than what economists were estimating. The ADP report comes 2 days before the government's employment data on Friday. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
A few weeks back, Senate Republicans attempted to rein in sanctuary cities, but the Democrats blocked the bill. Despite the kibosh at the federal level, one state is shutting down sanctuary cities. Last week, North Carolina Republican Governor Pat McCrory signed a bill into law that bans any policy that interferes with federal immigration laws, even laws the feds are not enforcing. The law is properly named the Protect North Carolina Workers Act, and it takes aim at local governments that disregard federal law by providing illegal immigrant sanctuary from law enforcement. It also bans handing out public benefits like food stamps to those who are illegally in the country and in the state. Public contractors will be held to account. They must use the federal E-Verify system to ensure they are not hiring illegals. Now, at the bill signing, the governor explained that local officials in North Carolina towns and cities will not be allowed to make up their own set of rules that conflict with the laws and values of the nation. Yes, sadly, a state had to pass a law making it against the law to break the law. I guarantee you it's not going to be long before liberal activists challenge this new law. It remains to be seen whether this law will be upheld, but it should be. It also remains to be seen whether other states with Republican governors emulate what just happened here in North Carolina. They should. For those in Rio Linda, that means copy what North Carolina did, just so you are in the know. Thank you.
If you still not refinance your mortgage, well, soon you may be kicking yourself in the head. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial, and interest rates have gone up recently and will continue to rise, but they're still at historical lows. So don't delay. Let us lower your monthly payment, consolidate a first and second, pay off other debt, or drop you into a 15-year loan with no closing costs. That's right. Nothing's rolled into your loan. We'll pay for your appraisal, title, underwriting, settlement fee, everything. Do not miss out on this historic opportunity. Whether it's a purchase or refinance, you'll pay no closing costs. You won't spend a dime. Think about it. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to find out how we can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. And by the way, Westland Financial now is proud to offer reverse mortgages for our clients over 62.
Call Westland Financial today at 1-800-431-2765. That's 1-800-431-2765. 1-800-431-2765. 1-800-431.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. The first candidates are signing up for the nation's first presidential primary in New Hampshire in February. Democrat Martin O'Malley earlier this morning, now Donald Trump, who's going on the attack against Marco Rubio.
He is a disaster with his credit cards. He certainly lives above his means. There's no question about that.
Rubio just responded, telling Fox the story about his credit cards has been discredited and the only debt he has is on his home.
I think it would be good for this country to have a president that knows what it feels like to have your house lose its value because of irresponsible and reckless behavior by Fannie and Freddie, by the Federal Reserve.
Rubio is third in the latest Quinnipiac poll at 14%. Trump leads with 24. Ben Carson just a point behind. Hillary Clinton has an 18-point lead over Bernie Sanders in the Democratic race. San Francisco's sheriff voted out of office.
Sheriff Ross Mercury
upbringing me received heavy criticism after the July shooting of 32-year-old Kate Steinle. Steinle was killed by an undocumented immigrant whom the sheriff's office had released months earlier despite requests from federal immigration officials.
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney. In Ohio, voters rejected legalizing marijuana, partly because the ballot question would create a network of growing facilities, giving those 10 sites a marijuana monopoly in Ohio. 2 months after it was thought an Illinois cop was killed in the line of duty, the story is changing. Fox's Jeff Manasso, live in Round Lake.
Dave, we're awaiting a press conference here in Round Lake where we expect investigators to conclude that the September 1st shooting death of Fox Lake Police Lieutenant Joe Glenowitz was not at the hands of suspects who he radioed in saying he was chasing on foot, but self-inflicted, and that Glenowitz took his life due to personal and professional pressures. We're expecting more answers here, including why it took so long to come to the same conclusion the coroner's office gave us weeks ago. Dave.
Jeff, they burned our red, white, and blue flag in Iran today at a rally where thousands chanted "God damn America," marking the start of the hostage crisis 36 years ago. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Here's how it works, Mary. You tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades, and I'll use my powers of prognostication to predict your path. Still game? I'm game. While riding the train, do you A, relax in your seat, or B, visit the bistro car? Relax in my seat. Catch some Z's, or be productive? Be productive. Open a book or your laptop? Laptop. Email or blog? Blog. Okay, here goes. While blogging in your comfy leather chair, you're moved by the sweeping views of the mossy megalopolis that is Oregon. You start building tiny train terrariums with native moss and even make punny t-shirts like, "Don't forget to moss." Wow, that's pretty specific. Yeah, it's a gift. Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
Stocks are falling a little bit on Wall Street. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
That's right, Dave. We're seeing the Dow Jones Industrial Average, after gaining 250 points roughly over the last couple of days, today pulling back right now, down almost 12 at 17,906. The Nasdaq down 4, the S&P 500 down 3.5. We have a slew of earnings coming in. We're seeing Wendy's and Tesla both higher after their quarterly reports. Tesla up 9%. Groupon, on the other hand, down more than 30%, missing its numbers and also trying to transform the company overall. Amazon, surprise profit late October, continues to soar and hitting a new all-time high. Dave.
Thank you, Nicole. The price of oil is down about $0.50, still over $47 a barrel. Gas is slightly higher. AAA's average for regular is about $2.20 a gallon. Honda is giving up on Takata, a company that's had millions of airbags recalled in a scandal that's cost Takata tens of millions of dollars in U.S. penalties. Honda says it will no longer use Takata airbags in its vehicles. Volkswagen's scandal keeps getting worse.
Volkswagen saying it underestimated fuel consumption figures for 800,000 cars, making them more expensive to drive than buyers have been led to believe. This on top of the 11 million vehicles already in the spotlight for being less environmentally friendly than they were supposed to be. VW shares are taking another hit, dropping nearly 10% after the admission was made. Volkswagen saying the latest revelation could add $2 billion to the cost of covering the scandal. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
There's a recall out of Mercedes today. 126,000 cars and SUVs in the U.S. that need a problem fixed with airbags that could inflate without a crash. This is the C300, C350, 63 models, the GLK 350 4MATICs. Mercedes says the airbag control unit can corrode and malfunction due to a manufacturing error. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
A lot of moisture in the air in the form of fog. News Radio 1120 KPNW 705 up along the I-5 corridor. You got it thick in some spots. Situation, let's just kind of run through them real quick here with the wake-up call at 7:05. We got the 58 situation out there 4 miles west of Oak Ridge, milepost 31. Also on Oregon 38, milepost 15 to 51.2 down near Drain. The eastbound lane's affected with an animal that has been struck, creating a hazard. causing traffic to slow. So in the metro down there near Drain, just be careful.
And issues, of course, on Willamette today. They just turned the power off on Willamette between High and Lincoln. They had a crash overnight that sheared off a power pole. Now they have to replace it. So they're doing that, and they're doing it now. Power is expected to be off for several hours. So if you're in the South Eugene area along Willamette and you went, well, hey, it's dark. What happened? Well, they turned your power off. And it's not because that you're behind on your bill. That might be the first thing you think is like, wait a minute, I paid the bill. I paid the bill. What are they doing? I paid the bill. And it has nothing to do with the fact that if you use less electricity, they're going to charge you more than if people use more.
I was waiting for that.
Has nothing to do with that. So just know that, and it's affecting businesses, it's affecting residences, and it will be affecting traffic lights. Do not forget, because I notice that people just can't seem to figure this out, at least some motorists. When you come to a traffic light that's out, you treat it like a four-way stop. You treat it just like a stop sign. Anyway, there's your traffic.
It means you don't stop, you just run right through it?
Well, if you're a bicyclist, that's the way bicyclists treat traffic lights, stop signs, etc. They just ignore them. But for those that actually have an internal combustion engine or a hybrid or an all-electric vehicle, you're required to actually stop at traffic lights and stop signs.
I think the majority of pedestrians you could put through there as well.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Oh, yeah. What? It's a red light, so I'm on a bicycle. I'm special.
All right, Foggy and 40 lease wheel coming up less than 20 minutes. Coming up on News Radio 1120, KPNW News next on KPNW.
Fall is officially hit with cold, rainy weather. Don't start a chilly day with a bleak breakfast. Warm your spirits with a breakfast burrito and coffee from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You can always enjoy a fresh cup of coffee at any Burrito Amigos location, but if you need a great espresso, hit up Burrito Amigos drive-thru on 6th and Polk in Eugene, or drop by the Springfield shop at 42nd and Main. Get a big old fresh mocha and bacon breakfast burrito. Bacon and chocolate and coffee. In some states, those are the only 3 food groups. Best of all, you don't need to get out of your car at either of those locations. Of course, that breakfast burrito can also feature link sausage, chorizo, huevos rancheros, black Angus steak, or pitted meatless. And of course, you can have a junior burrito or get the larger regular size on those days when you really need to fuel your morning. I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and I do hereby attest coffee and a breakfast burrito from Burrito Amigos trumps any breakfast food requiring the application of milk. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Low prices and award-winning service.
What does better mean to you? Better is coffee with a view. Better is a berry from the vine. Better is the journey. At Providence, we know there are many paths to better health. No matter how you define it, Providence Medicare Advantage plans can help you achieve your better. With Providence, you get a no-cost gym membership with all of our plans and access to thousands of providers in and out of Providence facilities. Talk to us about which plan is best for you. Call 1-866-948-5147. That's 1-866-948-5147. We're here from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Providence Medicare Advantage plans. Better you, better world. This information is not a complete description of benefits. Contact the plan for more information. Limitations, co-payments, and restrictions may apply. Benefits may change on January 1st of each year. The provider network may change at any time. You will receive notice when necessary.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Hey, did you know that yesterday you were supposed to vote? Only about 60% of you forgot. Eugene voters voted yay to a 5-year property tax levy that goes to city libraries. The tax will generate about $2.7 million a year. The money is supposed to pay for staff hours, equipment, programs, and materials, along with services at the main library and its branches. The Bethel and Sheldon libraries will also open an additional 22 hours a week, and
3 Sunday morning hours at the downtown library are expected to be restored. The property tax levy passed 52 to 47%. And like I said, only about 30% of you actually took the time to check off a box and put it in your mailbox. Voters in Springfield also voted yesterday to keep one of their 5 fire stations opened, and the vote wasn't even close. It passed 63 to 37%. That 5-year levy will pay for 12 firefighters needed to keep the station open. Rural Lane voters also voted in favor of a measure to fund new fire response vehicles for South Lane County Fire and the rescue team. The $2.6 million bond will purchase 2 fire engines, 2 tenders, and a ladder truck. Well, in an attempt to wear voters down in Benton County, commissioners there aren't willing to take no for an answer. Commissioners say they will force another vote on building a new jail in Benton County after losing the vote last night. Measure 2-91 failed by more than 5% of the vote. The measure would have built a new jail in Philomath instead of the county seat, Corvallis. Even before the final votes were tallied, it was obvious the measure would fail, and County Commissioner Annabelle Jaramillo said they would look at the proposal, find out why it failed, and immediately start planning another run at a jail that the majority of Benton County voters don't want and have said so 4 times so far. By a huge margin, Coos County voters said yes to an ordinance that demands U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment preservation. The ordinance calls for the county to ignore Senate Bill 941, which requires background checks on private gun sales, and it would also prevent the expansion of gun laws in Coos County. The passage gives the county sheriff the power to decide if a gun law has gone too far and allows the sheriff to deem it unconstitutional. That power would allow the sheriff to not enforce gun laws in Coos County. The measure passed 61 to 38%. Well, Eugene Airport is kicking off service to San Jose starting tomorrow, courtesy of a grant that was awarded 5 years ago. It was a $500,000 Small Community Air Service Development Program grant. Now, the reasons behind getting this grant, or if you will, the benchmarks that an airport has to meet, are pretty astounding when you think of it. Because to qualify, an airport has to be able to show that it has insufficient air service, unreasonably high airfares, and or geographic diversity. According to Catherine Stevens at the Eugene Airport, the answer is pretty simple, and that is that people would rather fly out of Portland. Upon further research, part of the reason behind this particular grant is being a small airport that is losing traffic to a major hub, which, of course, would be Portland.
Any airline that's looking at a route wants to know that it will be profitable for them. They also need to know that they have support from the community and the airport before they will put in a route like that.
So how many flights a day? 1 departure, 1 arrival. Also, San Jose lands as the 12th top destination for people from the Eugene area.
3 destinations right now are Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Las Vegas.
Those are the tops. The Eugene-San Jose flight will be operated by Alaska Air's sister carrier, Horizon Air, meaning that you're going to be flying in one of those commuter prop jobs. Oregon now has 12 confirmed cases of E. coli that may be linked to Chipotle restaurants. Brad Ford has the update.
Of those 12, 3 were treated at a hospital and released. Oregon Health Officer Dr. Katrina Hedberg says many people with this strain of E. coli may never seek health care, so the number of those affected is likely more than identified. Meantime, the cause of the outbreak is still unknown.
The real key to this is trying to figure out what food in the distribution pattern caused this and to stop that, and we do not yet know the answer to that.
They're looking at fresh produce like lettuce, tomatoes, and cilantro. Meanwhile, Hedberg says she would feel more comfortable if the Chipotle stores stayed closed until they find the cause, but understands that this may not be possible.
Often it's very difficult to identify the culprit.
Health officials are expecting more cases to emerge as the incubation period could be as long as 10 days.
Brad Ford, KPNW.
A newly discovered and disclosed report says a state technology manager who leaked former Governor John Kitzhaber's personal emails didn't have the authority to direct the seizure of computers from the governor's office. The report was written by a Portland law firm at the request of the Department of Administrative Services. It shows the grab of computers was orchestrated by state tech workers without consulting lawyers or prosecutors, and customary steps to preserve evidence were not followed. The report was obtained by the Oregonian through a public records request. It says State Data Center Administrator Michael Rogers had no reason to believe that he could authorize the seizure and exercised poor judgment in not ensuring proper handling of the potential evidence. Rogers has admitted to leaking Kitzhaber's emails to a reporter for Willamette Week. He left his job after a $282,000 settlement with the state. The national average for gas increased over the last 3 days, ending a 22-day streak of price drops. It's now $2.19 a gallon, and Oregon's average edged up $2.32 this week after falling 88 for the last 92 days. That's for those of you that are savants and keep track of that stuff. AAA's Marie Dodd says prices should continue to move down again soon.
And AAA still expects that our national and Oregon averages may dip below $2 a gallon by the end of the year for the first time since 2009.
The increase in prices is due to heavy refinery maintenance in the Midwest, which puts a squeeze on supplies. Once the maintenance is finished and refineries produce more gas, prices should drop. Crime Stoppers of Oregon is increasing the reward for tips in homicide cases. Brad Ford has that report.
The reward for information leading to a conviction in a homicide case is increasing from $1,000 to $2,500. Florida Police Sergeant Pete Simpson explains why.
To help generate more leads for detectives and help solve more cases.
Most of the tips they receive are for lesser crimes. Simpson says people who could give tips to a homicide are often at greater risk.
That extra money can help them move away or change their lifestyle so they're no longer at risk.
Crime Stoppers gets all of its funding through donations. Crime Stoppers will continue to offer a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in other felony crimes. Brad Ford, KPNW.
You'll see fewer unmarked, or make that fewer marked, Oregon State Patrol cars on freeways and highways. Why? Well, because the unmarked ones make more money. And you will be seeing a lot more unmarked cars. Lieutenant Bill Fugate says it's an effort to catch more distracted drivers using their cell phones.
In marked patrol vehicles, people can see us coming a long ways away, and so we're going to be using these unmarked vehicles to combat the traffic fatalities.
40 unmarked patrol cars are being added to the fleet as old cars are cycled out. They're still using, though, Dodge Chargers like the marked cars. They'll just have low-profile lights and no state police markings. 3 teenagers from Kennewick, Washington, under arrest for kidnapping an 86-year-old woman. Hazel Abel was stuffed in the trunk of her car. They drove to Wood Village and stopped in a Walmart parking lot where Abel popped the trunk and scampered into the store for help. Sheriff's Lieutenant Steve Alexander says deputies began searching for the teens.
We actually called in some additional deputies as well as a canine deputy and searched the area for the suspects.
They found the 14-year-old girl and a 15 and 16-year-old boys at a nearby gas station. They are under arrest. Abel is a great-grandmother to one of the teens. The U.S. House passed bipartisan proposals offered by Oregon Representatives Greg Walden and Earl Blumenauer to help improve roads and bridges in the Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area.
You know, across the nation, there are 12 national scenic areas in 8 states, including the Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area, which is the largest scenic area in the United States. This federal overlay consists of 292,500 acres along 85 miles of the Columbia River in Oregon and Washington, encompassing 6 counties and 13 different communities, and subjecting the area to unique land use development restrictions.
The proposal was attached to a long-term bipartisan transportation bill in the House, ensuring that projects within national scenic areas, including the Gorge, are eligible for grants to help them serve the needs of their local economies, residents, and, of course, visitors. And finally, the health of bees has become a worldwide discussion due to massive colony deaths, also known as colony collapse disorder. According to Ramesh Sajili, an Oregon State professor and extension specialist who's researching the causes of colony collapse disorder, the numbers have improved from the 30% average to around 23%, but there's still a long way to go.
Beekeepers are really struggling to follow those best practices to increase their colony survival.
Dr. Sajili will elaborate on those practices and numbers at the Oregon State Beekeeper Association's Fall Conference, the 6th through the 8th in Silverton.
What's the right time to feed your bees when they are in a certain crop? And what's the right time to put these mite treatments for killing those varroa mites?
Solving the problem of colony collapse is vital to the economy, as farmers have estimated the crop values would decline 70% in some cases without commercial bee colonies. It's 7:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
First college football playoff rankings are out, and it's Clemson at number 1. Second, LSU. Defending champs Ohio State third. With one loss, Alabama fourth, despite their 7th rank in the AP. Looking at their strength of schedule, LSU and Bama played this weekend, and that could affect next week's CFP. You never know. They're both at SEC. Oregon getting ready for Cal this weekend at Autzen, but folks still talking about the Arizona State game and the Ducks' claims that the Sun Devils were trying to steal signs being relayed to the field from the sideline. Ducks used several large sheets to shield the vantage point. ASU coach Todd Graham, yesterday after practice, fueled the debate by admitting they do steal signals, but said that other teams have stole their plays as well. What's good for the Goose? The Oregon men's basketball team in action last night against the Northwest Christian Beacons. Little difficulty winning 92-44. Oregon's Dylan Brooks, 26, 10 of 12 from the field. 6'10" Chris Boucher scored 11 and blocked 7 in his Oregon debut. Finally got a presence down low. NBA, the Charlotte Hornets won big at home over the Chicago Bulls, 130-105. Ex-Blazer Nick Batum, 18 for the winners. Former Duck Aaron Brooks, 14 for the losers on 4 of 5 from the three-point line. In L.A., the Denver Nuggets kept the Lakers winless by beating them 120-104. 6A boys soccer, top-seeded McMinnville shut out 16-seeded South Eugene 3-0 in 6A boys playoffs. ESPN has signed a multi-year deal to televise the championship meet of the Tracktown Summer Series starting in 2016. The Summer Series is a professional track and field league developed and created by Tracktown USA President Vin Lanana. If you've got the calendar out, the championship meet will happen July 29th. Wake Up Call Sports brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside neighborhood sports headquarters and pub at 723.
Your KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania, where the side effect of saving like crazy may cause excessive high-fiving and a permanent smile.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies with fog off and on across the valley. And temps right now are very chilly, mid to upper 30s out there with 35 in town. Now the fog will burn off by about 11 a.m. We'll lead to mostly sunny skies this afternoon as high pressure starts to move in. But highs only look to be in the mid to upper 50s out there with a high of 54 here in town. Late tonight and into tomorrow morning, we are tracking an upper level disturbance set to bring in some showers. 60% chance of that happening. You may wake up tomorrow with light rain off and on across the valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
With 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, where will you go? Toyota Care. 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, standard on all new models. Visit your Northwest Toyota dealer today.
Hurry to your Northwest Toyota dealer for the best deals on the best selection of new Toyotas.
Toyota. Let's go places. Covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. New vehicle cannot be part of a rental or commercial fleet. See participating dealer for plan details.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, brought to you by Builders Electric, providing smart electrical service since 1960. Fortunately, we all have egos. Otherwise, we'd never get anywhere in life, since fulfilling our egos is part of a positive lifestyle. And recently I discovered this little saying that the human body was wisely designed so we can neither pat ourselves on the back nor kick ourselves too easily. I guess that's how nature decided to keep us in balance in our lives. Having a positive ego is a good thing, and perhaps the way we keep it growing is by keeping a good balance between not getting too down on ourselves or too engrossed in how good we think we are. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
Today's Motivational Minute was sponsored by Builders Electric, voted the Register Guard's 2015 Reader's Choice #1 electrical contractor, providing positive service for over 55 years. That's Builders Electric, CCB 4296.
Anything but typical. Anything but cliche. Anything but routine. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. It's Wednesday. It's 7:25, and it's time for Lise. Lise Wheel, Fox News legal analyst and author of something like an entire library full of books. She joins us on the Wake Up Call this morning. Hi, Lise.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's just roll right into it. One of the things I want to talk about is Judge Vance Day. It's been a big discussion here in Oregon. He's a Marion County Circuit Court judge. He decided for religious reasons that he was going to not do any weddings or preside over any weddings because he did not want to be put into a position where he was going to be marrying gay couples because he says that's against his religious beliefs. And as soon as he did that, all heck broke loose. With a number of accusations being made against him, and now he is facing a disciplinary hearing. So, first off, your take.
Well, this is a tough one. Look, I understand that his religious beliefs do not allow him to sanction gay marriage. I got that. Just like Kim Davis in Texas, the same thing, the court clerk there. Right. But when you're a judge or a court clerk and you're the one that is tasked with, and you sign an oath that you will abide by the law, then you can't really pick and choose. Now, as a citizen, you can. And if he wants to resign and go out and say whatever he wants against gay marriage, well, that's fine.
Okay.
But as a judge, that's really difficult.
All right. So let me ask this question, because Oregon law does not require a judge to do weddings. I mean, that is not something that under his oath of office or according to Oregon law, statute, or otherwise, that he is required to perform.
Yeah,
it is something that judges do if they want to do them. And his whole thing was, look, if I'm not doing gay marriages, I can't do straight marriages either, and it's not something that I'm required to do by law, so he decided to quit both.
I understand that he's not doing any marriages, but think about the people in that district who are wanting to get married, whether they're gay or straight. That is an impediment to them. They're going to have to try to find another judge that will do it, and if all the judges say we won't do it, well, justice of the peace, that they say won't do it. I mean, you can get to a point where no one will get you married, and that's not right, and it makes it a big impediment for people that are trying to get married.
But, and I get your point, but again, the question is, if this is not something that he is legally required to do, and he's not, if he's not legally required to do it, why is what he is doing then supposedly against the law?
Well, I think what got him into the disciplinary council, it's not against the law here. We're talking about disciplinary council. What you got to realize is that lawyers and judges, just like medical doctors, are sanctioned and kind of ruled by their own body of people. Their own, there's a whole legal council that are lawyers that kind of, sanction or not sanction people. So it's not like it's illegal. It's not like it's a criminal thing. It's a disciplinary action. A. And B, there's some other things going on too. Apparently he had a picture of Hitler. He said, I was just honoring people that defeated the dreadful ideology. I get that. But a picture of Hitler in the county courthouse.
Did you see the picture?
I have not seen the picture. I read what he said it was.
Okay, so if you look at the actual picture, it's obvious that it was something that some vet picked up after the war as a keepsake. And around it are letters from vets that fought in Germany. There's photographs of vets. It's like a collage. And in the background, there is this thing of Hitler, but there's all these pictures of war-torn Germany, American vets, ribbons from different vets that they picked up. I mean, you look at it and you go, okay, this is not somebody that is saying that Hitler or Nazism was a positive thing. This is more of a historical collage, just like my uncle, who brought back a meatball flag from Japan, had that framed with pictures of the guys that were in his Marine group.
Well, but he also said, though, that the wall hangings, they did identify, veterans, but some of those veterans were donors to him to go to the Veterans Treatment Corps, but then he would take that money, some from lawyers, some from donors, you know, there's some issues there. There's some issues there, some gray areas. And I think this last one with the gay marriage was kind of thing that put it over the top. So the state board is saying we need to take a look at it.
Okay, but these other allegations didn't come out until
this.
Until this. So my question is, and you have to admit, this does look like that this kind of resembles a political witch hunt.
No, I don't admit that, because even though it's not against the law what he's doing, we're not talking about an illegal violation. We're talking about whether a judge should be sanctioned or at least looked at for his actions while on the bench. And I think it's perfectly okay to say, look, if you are so... I mean, he's telling his staff, for example, don't sanction gay marriages. Well, what about if one of the staff is gay? And so, no, I disagree with that. I want you to do this. I want to pass these on to you. You know, I see some real issues in that. No, it's not criminal. I get that. But it's less than that. It may be disciplinary action, though.
Well, why should it make a difference that his staff wants him to do it? I mean,
Yeah, but if he's telling his staff discriminate against gays.
Well, he's not telling them to discriminate against gays. He's just saying,
absolutely. So he's saying, don't send them to me.
Well, that's not telling them to discriminate. That's telling them send them somewhere else.
Of course it is.
Well, no. If you're telling them don't send them to me, and they're sending them somewhere else, how is that discrimination?
But they're his staff. Where are they going to send them? They don't. You know, they work for this guy, and he's saying don't send any gay people to me for marriages.
Well,
don't do it.
They work for him, but they work for the state of Oregon, and if they have any,
then you're using state employees.
They have
that's even worse then.
They have any common sense whatsoever. They know that there are other judges in the courthouse that are going to be able to take care of this. I mean, it's not. He's just saying, don't send them to me. It would be no different than a judge that would be sitting there going, you know what? I have kind of a conflict of interest in this case.
That's completely different. This is full-out discrimination. Now, will these people be able to get married someplace else? Of course they will. I hope. But it's full-out on his side discrimination. It absolutely is. And he's asking his staff to carry out those discriminatory practices. Again, not illegal, not going to go to jail for it, but I see why the board is looking at it.
I think we're out of time.
I think so.
Yeah, well, I wanted to get into this other one here about the doctor convicted in the murder of...
Well, let's do that quickly because that's an important one. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Doctor out in California is convicted now of second-degree murder for prescribing oxycodone, Xanax, all these things to patients who've admitted to the doctors, a woman, hey, I'm an addict. And she's like, oh, here you go, here's some more drugs. And I'm glad she got convicted of this because that's just Michael Jackson. It's kind of, Elvis Presley, but here it's with like regular, not celebrity people who are dying because of these overdoses. And this doctor was prescribing it, knew pretty much what she was doing.
So what's going to happen other than losing the license?
Well, she's second-degree murder, so she's going to get some prison time. That is criminal.
Has anybody tried to enumerate how many times that this actually happens, even a rough guesstimate?
No, it's tough. There was a doctor in Oklahoma pled guilty to second-degree murder in connection with in 2004 with drug overdoses of several patients, but that's the only other case I could find that was even close to this one. But hopefully, again, doctors are regulated by their medical boards, self-regulated, so hopefully this will get, more doctors on board to say, hey, you got to look through these people and see who they are before you just start giving out all these drugs.
Real quick, when's the new book?
Oh, January 19th. There you go.
Can you pre-order now?
Yes, go to Amazon.com. Absolutely. That would be great. It's called The Newsmakers. It's all about the inside workings of the cable news industry, murder and mayhem.
Do you kill anybody in the Fox newsroom?
No.
Not this time?
No.
Didn't you actually murder Bill O'Reilly?
I murdered Bill, in a book, Hand of Fate, where I was a co-host with a radio host. I was co-host with Bill for years, and Then so the first suspect in the radio host death is his much smarter, younger, more attractive female co-host.
Oh, that would be you.
Well, let's just say.
Yeah. All right. Gee, nothing psychological Jungian going on there at all.
Look, 7 years of doing radio with him, it's either kill him off in a book or go through intense psychological treatment.
All right, that makes sense. Lise, thanks for being here. Take care.
You got it. Bye.
Thanks. Lise Wheel on the wake-up call this morning. Don't forget, if you're on Willamette this morning and you went, ooh, my power went off at about 7 o'clock. What's going on? It was shut off purposely. eWeb did it. It's going to be off for a while. A power pole got sheared off earlier this morning. It's affecting the area between High Street to Lincoln along Willamette. They figure it's going to be several hours before they get the pole replaced. It's affecting businesses, residences, and, of course, your, traffic lights. So approach the traffic lights as if they were stop signs. That's the way you do it. Even if they're not blinking, even if they're not flashing, even if they're not illuminated, you still have to treat them like a stop sign. Unless you're on a bicycle, at which point you don't obey any traffic laws.
Highway 58 milepost 31, 4 miles west of Oak Ridge. We still have the cleaning up of a crash that happened earlier in the morning. Looks like things are moving a little bit better, but still something to think about. And Highway 38 down near Drain between milepost 50 and 51. The eastbound lane affected from an animal that was struck earlier. 7:36, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
It's the latest wake-up call market news. This is the KPNW Business Report.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Investors continue to look for clues about whether the economy is strong enough to withstand an interest rate hike. Companies added 182,000 workers in October, signaling steady improvement in the jobs market. That's according to a private report from payroll provider ADP. And this offers a hint on the state of the labor market before Friday's big government jobs report. Stocks are little changed this morning. Groupon plunging in trading after weaker than estimated profit and sales. The company has been trying to transform itself from a daily deals provider into an online marketplace. Meantime, Time Warner topping profit projections helped by HBO revenue and the Warner Brothers Film Studio, which produces shows such as Blind Spot for NBC and Supergirl for CBS. Volkswagen sinking deeper into crisis as the scandal spreads to gasoline cars. The carmaker said an internal probe showed 800,000 gas-powered vehicles had, quote, unexplained inconsistencies concerning their emissions reading. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Take Amtrak Cascades from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Amtrak.com/see what happens.
Get stoked on your next stove or fireplace insert at Midgley's. Get zero interest financing on Yodel, Valor, and Blaze King on approved credit. When Midgley's installs your wood or pellet stove, they'll throw in an accessory bag in your first chimney cleaning for free. That's over $250 in savings. We're at 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Our customer-friendly parking lot is located behind our store. Midgley's. Anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
See store for posted details.
Our busy patients are thrilled when they realize we can provide crowns in one visit. We do it all right here. You get standard crowns or implant crowns with no temporaries, no second visit.
The new technology is here. Eugene Implant Center at Denture Masters. For standard or implant crowns, whether you're a current or new patient, call Eugene Implant Center today.
Imagine the possibilities. See us for a crown in just one visit.
Call Eugene Implant Center today at 541-345-0004.
KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania in Albany, Eugene, Springfield, and Corvallis. Save like crazy.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temps out there right now on the chilly side, in the mid to upper 30s, 35 here in town. We do have fog off and on across the valley. Some spots are thick and others are thin. Now, this fog will burn off by about 11 a.m., leading to partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Highs are only warming up into the mid-50s with a high 54 here in town. Winds will stay light out of the southwest throughout the day. Now, we are tracking a storm system set to move in late tonight and tomorrow morning, bringing a 60% shot at showers. We're looking at about a 1/10 of an inch. Not a major system here, but at least a little more rain. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Holloway in London and the wake-up call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
It's 7:39. Thanks for being with us on the wake-up call. Beautiful start to the morning, unless you happen to be in the midst of what I refer to as bisque fog. Pretty thick in some areas this morning, depending on where you happen to be. Well, it's a topic we have discussed on the wake-up call on a number of occasions over the course of the years that we've been doing this show. And that has to do with the mind and, for instance, what happens to the mind at death. There are folks that believe that, for instance, that you walk through the light and that there is some sort of metaphysical thing or spiritual thing that happens when you pass away. Others believe it's just a dump of chemicals and the brain is reacting to that as the body shuts down. Well, to talk a little bit about that this morning, she's somebody in the neighborhood, actually, from the University of Oregon. It's Marjorie Hines-Wollicott. She is a PhD at the University of Oregon, a neuroscience professor at the U of O, and she has just released the book, Infinite Awareness. And the cool thing is that she's having a book signing and release party tonight over at the University of Oregon for the book. So first, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, so the book itself, Infinite Awareness, The Awakening of a Scientific Mind. I'm going to assume that as a neuroscientist, you fell into the category of those who believe that, like, as I mentioned, that when a person dies, there is a dump of chemicals that happen in the brain, and a lot of these instances that we hear about of near-death experiences were just kind of chemically generated as the body shuts down.
Absolutely. So, in fact, I should say that being trained as a neuroscientist in rehab medicine and working on patients with stroke and Parkinson's and children with cerebral palsy, et cetera, that was exactly my view of the brain. And I was deep into neuroscience as a young professor, publishing a textbook for clinicians on rehab medicine with grants from National Institutes of Health. So I had that very strong materialist scientist worldview. But what also happened to me is early in my career, my sister invited me to a meditation retreat, and in the first meditation session of that retreat, I had an experience of awareness that was much more expansive than anything I'd really experienced before. And I began to feel this energy pulsating from the core of my being, radiating outward. It felt like nectar, like pure love and joy pouring through me, and it felt like I'd been awakened to this new way of seeing the world, and with it, this powerful connection with other people and other things. So I went back from the retreat to my neuroscience job, and I meditated because I found it satisfying, but then I led two very separate lives, my neuroscience teaching and research life and my meditation life, and I had no idea how to put them together for many, many years.
All right, so let's talk about that journey. I would assume that at one point or another, as most discoveries occur, that there was an epiphany that allowed you to see, oh, this is how this links with this. What was that?
Well, yes, well, and I should even take a step back because before that epiphany, it was a little bit challenging, and especially for my husband. We would go out socially, for example, to a neuroscience dinner party, and we would be talking with my neuroscience colleagues, and my husband, who likes alternative medicine and meditation, would start to bring up that topic at the dinner table, and I would kick him under the table because I was so afraid I would lose my credibility as a scientist among my colleagues. And so after this went on for a number of years, I finally simply said to myself, I'm leading a relatively schizophrenic existence. I really want to figure out how to actually get my two halves of my life to fit together in a better way. And so Infinite Awareness is really about how I did the research to expand my scientific view of consciousness and integrate it with what I experienced in meditation. And I should say the first thing I did was to start doing research in my lab on meditation. And that was very exciting to learn a little bit more about what parts of the brain are active in meditation. And I found, like many other scientists, that meditation makes the mind more agile. For example, we're better able to focus, we make better decisions and faster decisions, and we are better able at regulating our emotions. We're a lot happier, we're less depressed. But what was interesting for me is that having done that research, I still wasn't answering my major question, which is there more to human consciousness than just brain activity? And so that's what led me to the research on near-death experiences, for example. And I was, in fact, amazed when I began to look at near-death experience research, energy healing, et cetera, that there is an amazing amount of carefully done studies in very highly regarded journals about these things. And I think the one on near-death experiences that is most powerful is one by Pim van Lommel and his colleagues from the Netherlands. and these are well-known cardiologists and a network of hospitals. And they've done very careful studies. They're called prospective studies, and that means that they bring in everybody to the hospital that's had, for example, a cardiac arrest. And then they measure their blood chemistry, their brain chemistry, they measure their electrical activity in their brain, and they show that these people have flatlined EEGs, which means that basically there's no brain activity. The heart has stopped for often many, many minutes. And they found that when they interviewed the people that survived this, 12% had conscious near-death experiences, even though their body, including their brain, had been judged by medical professionals to be clinically dead. And 25% of those had experiences where they were actually looking down on their own body from higher in the room and watching everything going on. And then people could verify afterwards that what they saw was actually what happened in the room. And so my neuroscience side of me is saying, how could this possibly be? It just doesn't fit into our normal neuroscience model.
All right. So how does it fit in?
That's a very good question. I think that what I am beginning to learn from reading a number of different articles in the area and exploring this further is that it appears as if our current understanding that our consciousness is solely the activity of neurons in our brain is not complete. It's certainly true that our neurons can generate activity and consciousness, but what many scientists are now beginning to say, including myself, is it appears as if consciousness can also exist independent of brain activity. And that's what these near-death experiences really show. If the brain activity is flat and you're still aware, it says that there's some additional aspect of consciousness that exists. And what people are beginning to propose is that there is a filter mechanism in our brain that actually filters out much of consciousness, conscious awareness, and brings it down into a more manageable amount of information that we can actually deal with in our regular life. And this is actually a very useful activity of our brain. If we were able to actually take in all of the information coming into us, we'd never be able to actually function. It would be way too chaotic.
All right, so I'm going to throw out a comic book term here. It almost sounds like you're talking about some sort of cosmic awareness that we have, but our brain really can't deal with very well.
And interestingly, that's exactly what one of the most famous psychologists in our country, considered like the father of our modern psychology, William James, actually said back in the early 1900s. He talked about this sense that there is a connection that we have. In fact, some people call it non-local awareness. And a number of quantum physicists, including Henry Stapp at the University of California, Berkeley, have talked about it. And in fact, this is available to varying degrees to different people, depending on whether they can actually penetrate through their normal mental activity to perhaps what we might call a subtler level of awareness.
All right. So you mentioned that about 12% of these folks that fell into the category of they were brain dead, their heart had stopped beating, had experienced these things. What about the other 88%? What about them? Did they experience nothing?
Absolutely. So what they have shown is that they do not know why this is the case, but about 12% of the people with exactly the same brain chemistry as those that didn't are able to basically be aware during this process. I think the point that the scientists, especially Pim van Lommel and his colleagues, have made is that the people who have it don't have, for example, more chemicals in their brain that might suggest they are having hallucinations, because in fact the whole point is that the whole cerebral cortex is inactive, and so there should be no way to have conscious experience. So something is happening in that 12% where they are, in a certain sense, you might say, like breaking through into another level of awareness that other people, for whatever the reasons, and they don't understand this, do not have. The other people stay basically unconscious during that time.
Do they do any kind of demographic research? For instance, do you believe in an afterlife? Do you believe in a higher power? Are you Buddhist? Are you Hindu? Are you, Christian, atheist, etc.? I mean, did they do anything to try and see if any if this 12% fit into more of a certain demographic other than just the fact that they did experience something as opposed to the others who didn't?
Absolutely. And in fact, one of the people who has done a lot of this work is Dr. Bruce Grayson at University of Virginia Medical School. And one of the things that he, in my book, we even talk about when I interviewed him, he said, what's amazing is that many of the people who have these near-death experiences are clinicians and they're neuroscientists and they're MDs, and they are so frightened about sharing their experience with other people that they don't even share it, even like with their husband. And he gave me one beautiful example of a husband and a wife who were talking with him, and the husband wanting to share his near-death experience he had just had with his wife. And at some point, she tells him to stop. And it's because she said 10 years ago, she had had an experience just like that, and she couldn't share it with anybody because she was so afraid people would think that she was crazy. So I think that that's one of those interesting points, that in fact it happens to people that believe it's not possible, but they know they had it, and they're afraid to share it for fear they will not be considered credible.
Does that not strike you as weird?
Yes, absolutely. But I think what Pim Van Lommel and Bruce Grayson and others have said is that this is not accepted in our society, and so most people who have it don't even want to talk about it with other people. And in fact, they say when they start to talk about it with their doctors, the doctors sort of like pat them on the shoulder and say, well, that was really nice, you know, and don't even want to deal with it because the doctors don't believe it's true.
Joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning is Dr. Marjorie Hines-Willicott on the Wake Up Call. She is a neuroscience professor at the University of Oregon. She has just written the book, or just released the book, Infinite Awareness, The Awakening of a Scientific Mind. What happens then? I want to get back to the meditation aspect because that's what led you down this particular path. What is it about meditation then that you believe is in some way or another linked to these near-death experiences? I mean, is it through meditation you're touching that, again, as I put it, the comic book phrase, cosmic awareness? Is that kind of where that connection lies?
And I believe it is. I think that a lot of people who, in fact, have near-death experiences end up moving to meditation to try to get back to that experience that was what they might call ineffable. It was like hard to even put into words, but it was very, very exquisitely beautiful. And one of those people, in fact, is Eben Alexander, who was an MD who had a near-death experience. And after his experience, he ended up doing research into meditation and found that in meditation he could go back into that same state of awareness, that it helped him tap into it again. And I have a story in my book as well of a woman named Bettina Payton who had a near-death experience when she was having her child, and she was an MD as well, an atheist when this started. And after she had the near-death experience, she then actually began searching for a meditation teacher and finally found one, and then in meditation again had an experience almost identical to her near-death experience, which was this incredibly expanded state of awareness. And she's been meditating ever since.
So you mentioned, you know, when you went to your, as you called it, your neuroscience dinner parties, which, by the way, for folks that are not neuroscientists, sounds just a little bit heady. That said, I mean, when you came out of the closet to your colleagues at the University of Oregon, did they give you those sidelong, oh, here goes Marjorie, kind of looks, or were they somewhat supportive, or how do they approach you?
I think it's a little bit of both. So there are certainly those materialist scientists who think that I am definitely totally what's the word I want to use? I'm a little bit flaky, as somebody might say, because I'm doing this sort of work, and you can see the glazed look come over their eyes if I mention the word meditation. And of course, when that happens, I change the subject. And there are others. For example, I gave a talk at a small workshop we had about a year ago at the university, and many neuroscientists came who I didn't even know meditated. And when they found out that I meditated, we went out for coffee afterwards, and we had wonderful conversations about it. So I think that there are actually both groups out there in the world, and I appreciate this way of finding out the ones who actually have a similar interest in meditation and neuroscience and putting the two worlds together.
As far as the critics on the neuroscience side, you know, what is their main go-to argument if you're going to have this discussion with them? What is their main go-to argument of, no, Marjorie, it's not that, it's...
I think what it is first of all, they say, well, if I give them examples of different cases or different research, they say, well, you could always explain that as, for example, a hallucination or blood chemistry changes that would cause these sort of things to happen. And what I've noticed when I talk with these people is they usually haven't looked at the research themselves on near-death experiences. They're simply talking from their framework as a neuroscientist. And I think it's a little bit frightening for them to have the possibility that their worldview may not be all that there is. And so they actually push looking at the research away. They simply aren't curious about it, and they simply say this doesn't happen.
Well, it's a fascinating book, Infinite Awareness, The Awakening of a Scientific Mind, written by University of Oregon, Professor Marjorie Hines Wollicott. She's on the Wake Up Call with us this morning. You're having a book signing tonight. Where, when?
It's at the University of Oregon in the Night Library Browsing Room at 7 p.m.
All right. Well, and everybody's invited to show up for that. And thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. We would love to be in touch with you at a future time and maybe continue this discussion.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right. Dr. Marjorie Hines Wollicott from the University of Oregon. Infinite Awareness, The Awakening of the Scientific Mind. You can get it on Amazon right now or most major bookstores. And you can download it as an ebook. All right, so sleep's an awesome thing. I got a bunch of it last night. I decided to go to bed early. I hit the Tempur-Pedic and I was out like that. I mean, and you know that it was fast because it was like that, only not that many times, just once. Anyway, if you haven't experienced a really quality mattress, if you're one of those folks that has been sleeping on a mattress that just happened to be, oh, this one's cheap. Let's get this one. This mattress is only $20. If you've been sleeping on one of those for a while, you probably know that actually as a comfort zone, they're not all that great. Head down to Sleep Train and find a mattress that is a good mattress. I look at it this way. Oh, there are people that will spend $1,500 on an easy chair that they're only going to sit in a couple hours a night. Why wouldn't you actually spend that kind of money on a piece of furniture that you're going to spend a third of your life on? Go down to Sleep Train and check out, for instance, a Tempur-Pedic, my fave, or maybe a Stearns & Foster or a Simmons Beauty Rest or a Sealy Posturepedic. And right now during Mattress Price Wars, you're going to save a whole bunch of money. For instance, on the Tempur-Pedic, they've got the 1-2 punch of savings where you get $300 off the Tempur-Pedic Breeze collection. Plus, you get a Visa gift card by mail worth up to $300 if you add a movable base to your Tempur Breeze. And I have the movable base. They rock. And they also have the sleep interest free event until 2018. No money down on any Tempur-Pedic on approved credit with 36 equal monthly payments.
Get instant cash back at Discount Windows. Discount Windows is working with Energy Trust of Oregon to help you reduce energy costs and improve the comfort of your home. Don't wait 6 to 8 weeks for a check. Make your project more affordable right now with instant savings. We've handed out over $20,000 in instant cash incentives in just 5 months. Instant savings at Discount Windows. Highway 99 in Junction City. Open 7 days a week.
Instant cash incentives applies to windows installed by Discount Windows. TCB 180018. Get maximum versatility and value with the Mahindra tractors, plus their standard 5-year powertrain warranty. Right now, get 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments till 2016. And enjoy an instant rebate of up to $1,000 on power package bundles at Mahindra's Red Tank sales event. Hurry and save on the world's #1 selling tractor, Mahindra. Head over to All Seasons Equipment today for the Mahindra Red Tank sales event. Learn more about the toughest tractors on earth at allseasonsmahindra.com. Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
This is your wake-up call.
Bring it down a couple of notches, because you're a little too happy.
Holloway and Lundgren on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Northwest Burger inside the 5th Street Market has burgers so amazing, they're an experience all their own. Freshly ground meat, local produce, combined with the creativity of local chef Garrett Kirsch, made for a burger experience like no other. Northwest Burger, the official burger of the Wake Up Call.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Was it suicide, not murder? We're about to get an update on Fox Lake. Illinois police officer Joe Glinowitz, initially believed killed in the line of duty.
All police have said is that they're going to reveal a very significant piece of information regarding this investigation. Local media rushed last night to report that they are going to reveal today that Lieutenant Joseph Glinowitz might have killed himself.
Fox's Matt Finn. Glinowitz had radioed he was pursuing 3 suspects, leading to an intense manhunt in early September, yielding no arrests. The woman said to be suicidal, accused of purposely crashing into Oklahoma State University's homecoming parade, killing 4 people, was formally charged today with murder and assault. Dacia Chambers is jailed undergoing a psychological evaluation. Donald Trump is in New Hampshire, the first Republican to formally file for the nation's first presidential primary in February, right after Democrat Martin O'Malley. This is a new Quinnipiac poll shows a tight GOP race. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
While Donald Trump and Ben Carson are virtually tied nationally in the Quinnipiac poll with 24% and 23% respectively, both Republicans have some work to do with voters. 50% say that Carson does not have the right kind of experience to be president. Even more say that Trump does not have the right experience. And 63% of Republican voters might change their minds on who to support. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton has her own problems. 60% of Democrats say the former Secretary of State is not honest or trustworthy, representing the lowest rating for honesty among all the White House hopefuls. Dave?
John, Republicans want the IRS to probe a Clinton charity. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
RNC Chair Reince Priebus sent a letter to IRS Chief John Koskinen asking the agencies to audit the Clinton Health Access Initiative. The request comes after Reuters reported the arm of the Clinton Foundation refused to refile tax forms even after acknowledging errors. The charity claims the mistakes no longer had an impact on the amount of income reported to the IRS. Dave?
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Oak Grove Guns wants all hunters to be safe this season, so here's some basic rules. Number 1, don't shoot each other. It seems so simple, but when you're on the trail tracking your animal, make sure your shot is clear and that your target is not your buddy. Wear the proper gear. Don't climb down from the blind or stand with a loaded firearm. Pay attention and use common sense. Oak Grove Guns is proud to once again be an Ed Brown dealer offering some of the finest handcrafted custom 1911s made. Oak Grove Guns, proud to supply guns to responsible gun owners.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plotto and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey, the dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
San Francisco is getting a new sheriff. Vicki Hennessy was elected in a landslide, saying her vision is
to make sure that we're a department who communicates with everyone, that we're a department who can agree to disagree when necessary.
She beat Ross Mirkarimi, who took a lot of heat over San Francisco's sanctuary city policy shielding illegal immigrants after a woman was shot to death on a pier. An illegal immigrant is the accused gunman. There were other interesting races and issues in this off-year election. Fox's Tanya J. Powers details a few of them live.
Houston, Texas voters rejected an ordinance that would have established non-discrimination protections for gay and transgender people. In Ohio, voters said no to a measure that would have legalized recreational and medicinal pot use. Brian Wright is with the group Responsible Ohio, which supported the issue.
I think that, Ohioans were just not ready to see this.
Evidently not. It was rejected by a 2-to-1 margin, partly because the growing would be controlled by private investors. In Mississippi, Republican Governor Phil Bryant keeps his seat, while in Kentucky, voters chose Matt Bevin, the first Republican governor in 4 decades. Dave?
Tanya, Target plans to close 13 stores across the country. By the end of the year, the company's also had 2,500 job losses this year. NASA is looking for Americans with the right stuff.
You think you have what it takes to fly to the stars?
I want to go into space to contact life forms that exist on chemicals other than carbon and oxygen.
I want to be the first guy to have a fast food franchise in space.
Well, you might be able to if you're smart enough and healthy enough and you make it through the job interviews. NASA is starting a recruitment campaign today for astronauts. You can be a civilian or in the military. The minimum age is 26 and you must have U.S. citizenship. All of the details are at NASA's website. Eben Brown, Fox News.
There is some selling on Wall Street this morning. The Dow is down 40 points. The price of oil is down close to $1 a barrel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
You know what's really cool? We have this video stream now. For some people, that may not be. Because I noticed right here, no, it's right here. Because I got this thing here. I think it's like part of the skull, but it's hard to tell. And then there's the clear cut as well that's going on. And that's kind of weird. And then if you look at Rob's picture, you know, then you have the kind of transient beard.
And if you don't get, you know, if you're not getting the stream, this is great radio.
Right.
Because you're like, wow.
It's brilliant.
I bet that's amazing to see that.
Right. And the cool thing is we can do stuff like, you know, this, where you go, so does that right there, does that look infected? You can do that on the video stream.
You totally missed the finger.
No, I didn't.
It's on the wrong.
No.
That.
No. That is.
Oh. Okay.
That I actually operated on that yesterday with a pair of very small electrical dikes and some tweezers out of the engineering room.
Did you get the little soldering thing out?
Yep. Yes, I did.
By the way, it's 8:06, 1120 KPNW.
Go to KPNW.
If you get the fog burned out of here, we got a nice day in store. 55. It's going to be like the quintessential fall day that everybody can enjoy. We've had the rain. We got more rain coming, so people that are complaining and clamoring for more precipitation, they're satisfied. The people that love the fall colors get a little sunshine to view them in. It's a great day. Oregon 38, folks in Drain, maybe not such a great day. An animal has been struck, and they're still cleaning things out between milepost 50 and 51. That must be a big damn animal.
Yeah. Well, it could have escaped from the wildlife safari, made its way over there.
To Drain?
I'm thinking, well, hey.
One of those
elephants
wild eels.
I've heard that elephants can run about 40 miles an hour when, they need to. You got an elephant out there that's running around, and he says, damn it, I'm hungry. And so he heads out that way. So I'm going to Drain. I've heard that there's good hamburgers there. And off he goes.
I want to go back to the wildlife safari. I like that place. It's a cool place to take kids.
I agree.
Kansas City Royals had their big celebratory parade thing yesterday. 500,000 people showed up. I mean, it was crazy. The people rejoicing in their World Series title win. This guy is getting raked across the sports radio coals.
What?
His name is Johnny Gomes, and he's a player, although he didn't quite play in the World Series. And so people are saying, why were you up there on stage giving this?
MVP of the whole league! Sorry, guys, not on our team. But we beat that guy, too! You know why we beat him? Because all y'all people had our backs. And Dayton Moore put this team together. And Yost delivered it by being a captain of the ship.
What?
Y'all want to be politically correct? I'm the unpolitically correct person. We whooped their
All right, so Johnny Gomes wasn't an instrumental part of the championship, but I feel like right there, he's going off as a fan. I mean, he's giving props to the people that made it happen. And so for the fact that he didn't play, obviously, he's getting the fans riled up and excited. I mean, would you rather have somebody that, yeah, it was great. It was great. I want to, thank my teammates, and you fans are great. I mean, he got people stirred up. And I don't think he, claimed to be, any more responsible than what he had. It's like he's got a talent for the mic. And plus, he did the mic drop, which reminded me we need to get our stunt mic so that we can have
that's
a little
right.
mic.
I forgot. We had that discussion not that long ago.
Guests come in, and they leave on the right.
Right.
They want to leave it on the right note.
Right. The mic drop goes something like they would be talking, let's say, on this mic, and there's like, yeah, so
wake up call, peace out.
Yeah, that's so it was really nice being on the show, guys.
Boom. And they walk out. We could even have some exit music, too.
Correct.
All right. We'll work on that.
Do we have any exit music up there?
For who?
For anybody. Any no exit music? We don't have any exit music on?
Not that I can play right now. I mean, for some it might be this, you know. For others it might be. Oh, where is it?
For others it might be this.
Is this socialism? What the heck's going on? Did you know?
I think that might be good. That right there, we'll just...
Who would that be good for?
We'll just...
Who comes to mind?
What the heck's going on? Did you know?
We haven't had Jeff Nunley on for a while.
What the heck's going on? Did you know?
Yeah, that works.
It's 8:11. News Radio 1120. KPNW news coming up next. Just a reminder, got a little bit of fog out there, but the sunshine is so pretty. It's KPNW.
Burrito Amigos and game day. You can't beat them. Having a game night in while the team is on the road? Well, invite all your amigos over and let Burrito Amigos supply the eats. Call in an order, pick it up, and it's party on. On the hot side, I suggest Fire Bites. They're deep-fried jalapeno slices, or treat your guests to cheese-filled jalapenos, pepitas. Or go deep with tacos, taquitos, and nachos. And Burrito Amigos taco salads are so big, everyone can dig in. Now, on the side, you can supply the chips while Burrito Amigos supplies the fresh beans, rice, and salsa to dip those chips in. If you want to plan ahead, stop by the night before and get some fresh, cold tamales by the dozen and nuke them at home the day of the game. Here's your Burrito Amigos helpful hint. When you go the tamale route, take home some mole or the thick, cheesy, spicy poblano soup to use as sauce over the tamales. Better yet, use both. And, of course, all of this is great for tailgate parties. You might even go the burrito route. Burrito Amigos all over Eugene and Springfield. As Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, I can tell you there are some weekends where you may even like Burrito Amigos better than the game.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Low prices, amazing selection.
Winter weather is right around the corner, but we have some cold, hard cash to heat things up. Come on over to Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence this November and see how much cash you can grab in 60 seconds in our Hot Seat Cash Cube giveaway. Winners will be drawn hourly every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Check out threeriverscasino.com for all the details. And coming soon, get ready to put on your blue suede shoes because, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis is in the building. That's right. The ultimate Elvis impersonator, Justin Shandor, returns to Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence for 3 epic performances. Reserve your tickets now for Elvis, January 15th and 16th. Go to threeriverscasino.com for all the details. We got the cash and we got the king at Three Rivers Casino Resort because things are luckier here.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood. On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. Let's look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, heating you up on a cold, foggy morning. Admit it, a machaca burrito would rock your world right now. Here's what's going on. Well, Eugene voters, well, let's just say a few Eugene voters actually went out and took the time to mark in a little box and put it in their mailbox and vote yesterday. And they voted yay to a 5-year property tax levy to go to city libraries. The tax will generate $2.7 million a year for the libraries. The money is supposed to pay for staff hours, equipment, programs, and materials, along with services at the main library and its branches. The Bethel and Sheldon libraries will open an additional 20 hours a week and 3 Sunday morning hours at the downtown library are expected to be restored, or if you're on KDUC, they just call it a library. The property tax levy passed 52 to 47%. and a whopping 33% of registered voters actually took the time to cast a ballot. Voters in Springfield also voted yesterday to keep one of their 5 fire stations open, and the vote wasn't even close, 63 to 37%. The 5-year levy will pay for 12 firefighters needed to keep that station up and running. Rural Lane voters also voted in favor of a measure to fund new fire response vehicles for the South Lane County Fire and Rescue Team. The $2.6 million bond measure will purchase 2 fire engines, a ladder truck, and a pair of tenders. Well, in an attempt to wear voters down in Benton County, commissioners there aren't willing to take no for an answer. Commissioners say they will force yet another vote on building a new jail in Benton County after losing another vote on the same issue last night. Measure 2-91 failed by more than 5% of the vote. The measure would have built a new jail in Philomath instead of the county seat, Corvallis, even before the final votes were tallied. It was obvious the measure was going to fail, and County Commissioner Annabelle Yarmio said that they would look at why the proposal failed and then literally that day start planning another run at a jail the majority of Benton County voters have said now 5 times they don't want. By a huge margin, Coos County voters said yes to an ordinance demanding U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment preservation. The ordinance calls for the county to ignore Senate Bill 941, requiring background checks on private gun sales and prevent expansion of gun laws in Coos County. The passage gives the county sheriff the power to decide if a gun law has gone too far and allows the sheriff to deem it unconstitutional. That power would allow the sheriff as well to not enforce expanded gun laws in Coos County. The measure passed 61 to 38%. The Eugene Airport is kicking off service to San Jose Thursday. It's all courtesy of an award from the fall of 2010. It was a $500,000 Small Community Air Service Development Program grant. Now, the reasons behind the Eugene Airport getting this grant are pretty funny if you really think about it. To qualify for this specific grant, the airport has to currently have insufficient air service, unreasonably high airfares, and or geographic diversity. According to Catherine Stevens, the Associate Airport Director at the Eugene Airport, the answer is pretty simple, and that is people would rather fly out of Portland. Upon further research, part of the reason behind this particular grant is being a small airport that actually loses traffic to a major hub, which, of course, is Portland.
Any airline that's looking at a route wants to know that it will be profitable for them. They also need to know that they have support from the community and the airport before they will put in a route like that.
So, how many flights a day? 1 departure and 1 arrival. And by the way, San Jose lands as the 12th top destination for people from the Eugene area. As far as the main destinations?
3 destinations right now are Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Las Vegas.
The Eugene-San Jose flight will be operated by Alaska's sister carrier, Horizon Air, so you'll be flying on one of those commuter prop jobs. Oregon now has 12 confirmed cases of an E. coli strain that may be linked to Chipotle restaurants. Brad Ford has the update.
Of those 12, 3 were treated at a hospital and released. Oregon Health Officer Dr. Katrina Hedberg says many people with this strain of E. coli may never seek health care, so the number of those affected is likely more than identified. Meantime, the cause of the outbreak is still unknown.
The real key to this is trying to figure out what food and the distribution pattern caused this and to stop that, and we do not yet know the answer to that.
They're looking at fresh produce like lettuce, tomatoes, and cilantro. Meanwhile, Hedberg says she would feel more comfortable if the Chipotle stores stayed closed until they find the cause, but understands that this may not be possible.
Often it's very difficult to identify the culprit.
Health officials are expecting more cases to emerge as the incubation period could be as long as 10 days.
Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, if you happen to live on Willamette or work along Willamette between High and Lincoln Streets, you'll notice the power is out. There's a reason for that. eWeb shut it off about 7 o'clock this morning. The reason is because last night at around 2:40 a.m., a vehicle smacked a pole at 28th Avenue in Willamette, and it was sheared off. So eWeb decided after things lit up a little bit that they would replace that pole. To do so, they had to turn the power off, and they say the outage will continue for several hours while crews try to replace that pole. It has affected homes, businesses, and also traffic signals. So if you're out there and you notice the traffic signal is not working, Oregon law says you have to treat it just like a stop sign. In other words, everyone stops. The national average for gasoline increased over the last 3 days, ending a 22-day streak. For price drops, it's at $2.19 a gallon, and Oregon's average edged up $2.32 this week after falling for 88 of the last 92 days. For those of you that have your calendar and are marking it off with a Sharpie, AAA's Marie Dodds says prices should continue to move down again soon.
And AAA still expects that our national and Oregon averages may dip below $2 a gallon by the end of the year for the first time since 2009.
The increase in prices due to heavy refinery maintenance in the Midwest, which puts a squeeze on supplies. Once the maintenance is finished and refineries produce more gas, the prices are expected to drop. Crime Stoppers of Oregon is increasing the reward for tips in homicide cases. Brad Ford reports.
The reward for information leading to a conviction in a homicide case is increasing from $1,000 to $2,500. Border Police Sergeant Pete Simpson explains why.
To help generate more leads for detectives and help solve more cases.
Most of the tips they receive are for lesser crimes. Simpson says people who could give tips to a homicide are often at greater risk.
That extra money can help them move away or change their lifestyle so they're no longer at risk.
Crime Stoppers gets all of its funding through donations. Crime Stoppers will continue to offer a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in other felony crimes. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, you're going to see fewer marked Oregon State Police patrol cars on the freeways and highways and more unmarked cars. Ooh, it's a way to generate more money. Lieutenant Bill Fugate says it's an effort to catch more distracted drivers using cell phones.
In marked patrol vehicles, people can see us coming a long ways away, and so we're going to be using these unmarked vehicles to combat the traffic fatalities.
40 unmarked patrol cars are being added to the fleet. As old cars are cycled out, they're still going to be using Dodge Chargers, so that's one way you're going to be able to tell. And like the marked cars, they'll just have low-profile lights, but they will not have police markings. All right, well, here's a disturbing story. 3 teenagers from Kennewick, Washington are under arrest for kidnapping an 86-year-old woman. Her name is Hazel Abel, and she was stuffed into the trunk of her car. They then drove to Wood Village and stopped at a Walmart parking lot. Abel popped out of the trunk and shuffled into the store for help. Sheriff's Lieutenant Steve Alexander says deputies then began searching for the teens.
We actually called in some additional deputies as well as a canine deputy and searched the area for the suspects.
They found the 14-year-old girl and 15 and 16-year-old boys at a nearby gas station. They're under arrest. Turns out that Abel is the great-grandmother to one of the teens. That just sounds like a fun-loving family. And the health of bees has become a worldwide discussion due to massive hive death caused by colony collapse disorder. According to Ramesh Shajili, an Oregon State University professor and extension specialist who is researching the causes of colony collapse disorder, the numbers have improved from a 30% average for colonies and hives collapsing to around 23% this year. But he says there's still a long way to go.
Beekeepers are really struggling to follow those best practices to increase their colony survival.
Dr. Sajili will elaborate on those practices and numbers at the Oregon State Beekeepers Association's Fall Conference, November 6th through the 8th in Silverton.
What's the right time to feed your bees when they are in a certain crop? And what's the right time to put these mite treatments for killing those varroa mites?
Solving the problem of colony collapse is vital to the economy, as farmers have estimated the crop values would decline 70% in some cases without commercial bee colonies. It's 8:24. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Well, the first college football playoff rankings are out, and it's Clemson at number 1. Second, LSU, defending national champs Ohio State. Third with one loss, Alabama. 4th despite their 7th rank in the AP, but strength of schedule, kind of hard to argue. LSU and Bama play this weekend, and that should affect next week's CFP. Oregon getting ready for Cal this weekend, but folks still talking about the Arizona State game and the Ducks' claims, particularly offensive coordinator Scott Frost, that the Sun Devils were trying to steal signs that were being relayed to the field from the sideline. Ducks used several large sheets to shield the vantage point. ASU coach Todd Graham fueled the debate by admitting that they do steal signals after practice yesterday, but said that the other teams are stealing their plays as well, so it's okay. Oregon men's basketball team in action against Northwest Christian last night. Little difficulty winning 92-44. Oregon's Dylan Brooks led with 26 on 10 of 12 shooting. 6'10" Chris Boucher, new Duck, scored 11 and blocked 7 in his Duck debut. NBA, Charlotte Hornets won big at home over the Chicago Bulls, 130-105. Ex-Blazer Nick Batum had 18 for the winners. Former Duck Aaron Brooks had 14 for the losers, 4 of 5 from the three-point line. In L.A., the Denver Nuggets kept the Lakers winless by defeating them 120-109. Utah, the Jazz host the Blazers tonight. 6A boys soccer, top-seeded McMinnville shut out 16-seed South Eugene 3-0. Grizzlies have won 11 in a row. The Indianapolis Colts have fired offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton after the 29-26 OT loss to Carolina. That was their 3rd loss in a row. He'll get another job. His name is Pep. ESPN has signed a multi-year deal to televise the championship meet of the Tracktown Summer Series starting in 2016. The Summer Series is a professional track and field league developed and created by Ben Lanana, Tracktown USA president. The meet will happen July 29th. Wake Up Call Sports brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your West Side neighborhood sports headquarters and pub. At 8:26.
Weather every 10 minutes during the Wake Up Call. Count on it. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temps out there right now are on the chilly side in the mid to upper 30s, 35 here in town. And we do have fog off and on across the valley. Some spots are thick and others are thin. Now, this fog will burn off by about 11 a.m., leading to partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Highs will only warming up into the mid-50s with a high of 54 here in town. Winds will stay light out of the southwest throughout the day. Now, we are tracking a storm system set to move in late tonight and into tomorrow morning, bringing a 60% shot at showers. We're looking at about a 1/10 of an inch. Not a major system here, but at least a little more rain. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Built for business. Comcast Business is offering 25 megabits per second internet from $69.95 a month. That means if you're still using slow DSL from the phone company, you have a decision to make. Do you switch to Comcast Business and get more speed for faster downloads, or stick with slow DSL and watch your business stutter from slow speeds? Do you get internet that stays fast when other people are online, or keep using slow DSL and have your employees struggle with lag time? The choice is yours. Switch to Comcast Business and get 25 megabits per second of fast, reliable internet from just $69.95 a month. Or stick with slow DSL and get slower speeds and more downtime at work. Make the smarter choice. Ditch slow DSL and switch today. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 12/31/15. Restrictions apply. 2-year contract and subscription to Comcast Business Voice and Business TV required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Okay, Ben, you tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades. I tell you how your seemingly innocuous decisions ultimately alter the course of your entire existence. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, on the train, do you A, order food, or B, get a drink?
Get a drink.
Nice. Coffee or beer?
Beer me.
Ooh, someone catches your eye. Say hello or find your seat?
Say hello.
She's a Beaver fan. I noticed you're wearing a duck catch.
Ugh.
Deal breaker or get her number?
Yeah, sure, get her number.
You get her digits. After 6 months of dating, you adopt a rescue dog and you name her Pork Chop. And 4 months later, you propose on the jumbo screen at the Civil War. She spills her drink on you. Boo. But says yes. Yay.
Whoa.
Yeah, want to know your kids' names? Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
You know, some people like to go the extra mile, but in the Northwest, we go the extra 25,000 miles. That's right. We go 2 years or 25,000 miles with no cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance. It's called Toyota Care, and it's included with every new Toyota. That means oil and filter changes, tire rotations, multi-point inspections, they're all covered for 2 years. And those moments we don't plan for, like locking the keys in the car or getting a flat tire, you guessed it, Toyota Care covers that too. We know that out here, we need to be prepared for anything. That's why in the Northwest, we go with Toyota Care. No cost maintenance and roadside assistance for 2 years or 25,000 miles. Go see your Northwest Toyota dealer today.
Hurry to your Northwest Toyota dealer for the best deals on the best selection of new Toyotas.
Toyota. Let's go places. Covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. New vehicle cannot be part of a rental or commercial fleet. See participating dealer for plan details.
This is your wake-up call.
It's like no cheese I've ever tasted.
News Radio 1120, KPNW.
KPNW 830 News Radio 1120, all over a beautiful Wednesday, all day. It's just going to be, get a chance. Get out there and take a walk down by the river, get the dog out there. By the way, Oregon game, Saturday night, chance of showers and temperature at kickoff about 52 degrees. We got we got into the 30s this morning, a little on the chill side, holding steady at 44 degrees. A 12-year-old girl bit into a Snickers bar, and there was a sewing needle in the Snickers bar. Thankfully, it appears that she kind of felt something in the bar. She was trying to eat the little Snickers and pulled it out. But just how concerning is that? I mean, you don't hear a ton, thankfully, of people being ridiculous like that and putting stuff in candy. She was trick-or-treating between the 1200 block of Centennial and the 500 block of West Centennial, a distance of little over a mile. And they weren't even going to file a police report, but somebody said, you might want to do that, which is good advice, because you never know what you and your resources, you might be limited. Whereas the police department
makes you wonder how many
adept at catching, idiots.
Makes you wonder how many other candy bars may have been tainted by said individual.
And it didn't get reported.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
If it did, report it. Need to report it. If you did, report it.
Scary situation.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I guess that's one of the good things is that, with the smaller candies.
So did you take Sid?
Is that you're able to see it more as opposed to, I think, the bigger, larger candy bars. A little bit more difficult. Yeah.
And did you go through each and every candy when you got home? Did you do that?
I examined, there wasn't a ton, thankfully, but yeah. And as we are, kind of went through it, kind of a broad overview, and then each individual candy that she's eating, we're kind of taking another. Although we went to some fairly safe places. I mean, we were either downtown Eugene. Not to say that things can happen,
right?
But you had merchants, and then we went out to Camp Harlow, which had a great event.
Thanks.
Totally recommend that. If you've got kids and there's inclement weather, Camp Harlow, which is where they have summer camps, and it's a venue large enough that they can have a bunch of people inside, and it's not too packed. It was great. You have to kind of trudge through the pasture where you park your car.
Yeah. So it's a combination of Halloween and like an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the Easter egg hunt?
Well, that you're trudging around in the woods and looking for candy.
All right. Yeah.
It's like an Easter egg hunt.
Sure.
So without the Easter eggs.
Anyway.
That's the way I view it.
Glad that the girl in Springfield got the sewing needle out without, that could be I didn't want to think. Did anything ever happen like that with Brady? Did you?
No. We pretty much stayed in the neighborhood. You know? I mean, we didn't really go too far out of the way. So, anyway. A couple of things going on today. Speaking of, this is like late this is adult trick-or-treating. You're trick-or-treating for cash, which is nice. We're talking about $50 already activated Visa gift cards that you can spend them just like cash. And guess what? We're going to be out, courtesy of Kindle Auto Group, again today between noon and 1. Okay, so there's clue numero uno, clue number 1. We're going to be out between noon and 1, and I'm going to give you a bonus clue. We're going to be somewhere in Junction City. We're expanding out. Now, here's all you have to do to win. Be one of the first 4 people to show up and have a Kindle Auto Group license plate frame on your vehicle. That's it. And you can pick the things up free at any Kindle dealer and install the thing. I think there's also like a Kindle sticker that if you buy a Kindle automobile that goes in like the window. Because I saw somebody that showed up at one of the things that we were doing a couple of weeks ago at Coburg Road Car Wash that had one of those, and we were like, yeah, sure. By the way, if you've already...
That counts too?
Yes, yes. Now, if you have already won one of the gift cards, keep in mind you are only eligible to win 1. So, you know, I'm just going to say, don't come trudging out there going, I want another one. Because that's not going to work.
Do you know what I drive?
Do I know what you drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, you drive that red thing down there. So, yes, I do. What? Well, you didn't want me to tell you what it was, so
I just asked you if you knew what I drove.
Yeah. And I started to say, and then you kind of cut me off because you don't want people to know what you drive.
Well, you could just say,
I just
yes,
said thing.
I know what you drive.
It's the red thing, just like I drive the green thing. All right? So, there. My gosh. Anyway, all right, so that's going on today, noon to 1, somewhere in Junction City. And you got to figure that it's going to be easy to find because, you know, Junction City is not exactly what you would call a sprawling megapolis yet.
Anything else?
Yeah, we've got the best shot contest going on. And it is basically a way for you to show off your hunting prowess. Brought to you by Oak Grove Guns. Very simple. Just make sure that you get one of those pictures of this year's take to us. Simply just go to the website, KPNW.com, and you will go to the front page there at the KPNW website, KPNW.com. You'll see that kind of banner ad there on the left-hand side, the big one, and it's got the arrows going left and right. Just click on that, and then you will finally see the Oak Grove gun logo with the rifle there. It is your chance to win a brand new hunting rifle in the caliber of your choice, the ones offered for that particular model. And so just get in and get entered. It's that simple. You'll see all the instructions there on the page, and it will show you, you know, what it is that you need to do. And it's pretty simple. All you have to do is just go through and figure it out. So anyway, and we'll announce, before we go off the air, we'll announce who picked it up today. So yesterday was Alan Guess. We'll have somebody else, one of our daily winners, and then at the end of all this, we'll pick an overall winner. Courtesy of Oak Grove Guns and KPNW.
Where it's 8:38.
It's your money. And this is your wake-up call market report on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are slipping, falling from its 3-month high as Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen reiterated that a December rate increase remains a live possibility. Yellen, speaking before the House Financial Services Committee, says no decision has been made yet. Lumber Liquidators appointed Chairman John Presley as its next chief executive officer, turning to a longtime board member and banking industry veteran to turn around the embattled retailer. The formaldehyde concerns have taken a toll on Lumber Liquidators sales, and the company posting an 11% decline in third-quarter sales. After spending the last 2 months promising to make you rich, the chief executive of FanDuel admits his daily fantasy sports site may have gone a bit overboard. Nigel Eccles told Bloomberg, quote, "People, when they saw the ad for the 87th time, they thought, I'm sick of this. FanDuel has spent more than $100 million on advertisements since August and raised the profile of daily fantasy sports at the same time. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg.
Drive past the big box stores. You'll feel the excitement when you walk through the doors of the newly renovated Tannerite Sports Outlet. New look, expanded selection, easier to find inventory. Tannerite's got it, and it looks great. Ammo, reloading components, powder primers, bullets and brass. Tannerite. Bulk and box ammunition. Tannerite. Gun parts, accessories, and survival gear. You know the answer. Tannerite. And you know Tannerite's price is as good as anyone's. New look, expanded selection, easy access inventory at the renovated Tannerite Sports Outlet across I-5 from LCC.
Do you ever get a little jealous of those cyclists cruising by? Wish you could be back on a bike? Well, with Eugene Electric Bicycles, you can. Our e-bikes are just like traditional bicycles, but when you need that little extra push to get up a hill or keep up with your partner, you just engage the power and zoom. Come test ride one of our electric bicycles on our traffic-free route to the River Trail and rediscover the joy of cycling. Eugene Electric Bicycles, across from Fifth Street Market, next to St. Vinny's. Zoom!
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson, co-host of Real Estate Today. Kurt Large and Evergreen Roofing is my go-to company if I need to understand a roofing system, how to maintain the roof, should it be replaced, and if it is to be replaced, what should be done. He is absolutely the expert's expert. Evergreen Roofing is my go-to company.
To find out more about Evergreen Roofing, just go to their website, evergreenroofing.com.
In 1977, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. The odds of that same boy winning the U.S. Open twice, 1 in 1.2 billion. The odds of him having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The most accurate forecast now. We have weather every 10 minutes during Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies with fog off and on across the valley. And temps right now are very chilly, mid to upper 30s out there with 35 in town. Now, the fog will burn off by about 11 a.m. and will lead to mostly sunny skies this afternoon as high pressure starts to move in. But highs only look to be in the mid to upper 50s out there with a high of 54 here in town. Late tonight into tomorrow morning, we are tracking an upper level disturbance set to bring in some showers. 60% chance of that happening. You may wake up tomorrow with light rain off and on across the valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
So I was laying in bed. As I was laying in bed, I thought, maybe I'll think about what we'll talk about for the Sleep Train commercial as I lay with my great sheets and my Superman underoos. I don't have anything. I was out like a light. If you have a trouble getting to sleep and maybe there's difficulty and you wake up, sometimes you feel like you've been, I don't know, mugged because physically you just woke up. You just had great slumber. You should feel great and you don't. Perhaps it's time for a Sleep Train visit. They have great brands like Stearns & Foster, Beauty Rest, my favorite, Tempur-Pedic, the Serta, the Beauty Rest. What you might think you're going to like a certain brand, but there's only one way to really go and find out. I mean, a bed is an investment. You need to make sure that that is the bed for you. And if you get it home and you realize after day 72 of ownership, not quite feeling it. The 100-day low price guarantee means 100 nights. And so after one of those days, you go, I think it's time for a redo. Sleep Train will do whatever they can to honor that, and they'll take the bed back and make you happy.
I'm just surprised to find out that you have the Superman underoos. Mine are the Batman jumper pajamas with the feet.
With the feet, yeah.
Yeah, they're nice. Anyway, so head into Sleep Train. You're going to find them all over the place, and they're going to save you money and, of course, ensure that you get a great night's sleep. You'll find them in Albany, Corvallis, Eugene, and Springfield, and tell them Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you, or maybe you'd be too embarrassed to do that.
The Wake Up Call.
To be honest, I've never seen such dysfunction.
With Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. It is 8:44. Well, it's new to the area. The group, though, not particularly what you would call new. It is the Eugene Symphony Guild joining us on the Wake Up Call, and they have a new offering. So we want to welcome to the microphones. We have Robin Rothstein, Larry Kenton, and Nancy Holloman joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. Welcome back. You don't have a microphone. Because
we did the mic drop earlier.
Yeah, we did the new thing is now when you're doing something cool and you're talking on the microphone, people now just take them and drop them. That is the cool thing, apparently.
So when you leave, will you be our first?
Yeah,
and drop it.
Right, just knock when you're done. Just knock the microphone over.
Got it.
Okay, and I will cue you. All right.
We want to be hip.
So anyway, the Eugene Symphony Guild. For folks that don't know, Nancy, what the Eugene Symphony Guild is, why don't you inform them right now?
We have about 125 members who work all year long. Our purpose in life is to support the Eugene Symphony. We're very excited because this is the 50th anniversary of the symphony. And we do all kinds of little small fundraisers and large fundraisers. And this event coming up on Lucky Friday the 13th in November is brand new for us. We're very excited about it. And Robin and Larry have stepped up and produced a wonderful show. So we're creating a sort of a guild supper club.
Yeah.
With a lovely dinner, some wine tasting, a cake auction, and a fabulous show.
All right, so just to kind of restate, the Eugene Symphony Guild does a number of fundraisers during the year.
We support the symphony in many ways. We'll be ushering at the youth concerts next week. Helping about 2,000 kids get in and out of their seats, and that's always fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
it sounds like lots of fun. Good for you, lucky you. Well, congratulations on being a volunteer.
Sure.
Yeah, is that the way you break in the new volunteers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to usher the 12-year-olds to their seats. Have fun with that. We'll be in the back enjoying wine. So, among other things besides volunteering your time, of course, you do a number of things. I mean, my favorite is that you do in the spring with the gardens.
Garden tour.
The garden tour is just very cool.
In June, June 12th this year.
But this is a new thing, and it's called Come to the Cabaret, which is what, kind of a musical dinner show?
Right.
Okay. And so let's now invite Nancy or Robin and Larry into the conversation. Get down and dirty with it. What exactly is going to go on here?
Okay, we have 7 singers, and they're each going to do a couple of songs. These are people who I have worked with in musical theater here in Eugene since I moved here about 4 years ago, and they were kind of hand-selected, and they are very talented. They are going to reprise songs that they made famous in the shows that they've done around town, like, let's see, we did She Loves Me at the Cottage Theater, so we have a couple of people from that. And we have 2 different productions, people from 2 different productions of Les Mis, one from Cottage and one from Actors Cabaret. And it's going to be a blast.
I guess what? Sweeney Todd, Smokey Joe's Cafe, La Cage aux Folles, Dames at Sea. I mean, it really is. It's a cabaret, kind of a dinner theater kind of thing. So, Larry, let's ask you, as far as the dinner aspect of it, for folks that are, so inclined to actually eat good food, what kind of things are going to be on the menu?
Well, let me get the menu.
Because I wasn't ready to ask.
I just happen to have it before me. Let's see. They're having a char-grilled beef tender tip topped with a red wine mushroom brown sauce. Or you could have salmon in a citrus butter sauce. How does that sound?
We're all having salmon.
We're all having salmon, of course. Chicken piccata and French roasted vegetables with couscous. Stuffed with a baked potato, or no, a baked portobello mushroom. So for those who used to be,
if you're a vegetarian and you don't want to go the meat route, then they've got a wine tasting too is going to happen. Is that right, Nancy?
Yes. We have J. Scott Sellers, who's going to be sharing their lovely wines with us, and then after dinner we have a cake auction. Have you been to one of those cake auctions? We have
kind of a dessert auction, but never a specific cake auction.
And a wonderful auctioneer for that. So.
Okay, so is there...
Wait, who's the auctioneer?
Yeah, just curious.
Joel.
Some guy named Joel. So Joel, they just found this guy named Joel who's going to get in there and auction the cakes off. Hi, I'm Joel, and I guess I'm your auctioneer tonight. How much you going to give me for this cake?
Now you would put me on the spot like that.
Well, of course.
I haven't met Joel, but I hear he's wonderful.
I hear he is too. All right, so it's going to be coming up November 13th, which is Friday, the Hilton Garden Inn. Gateway in Springfield, so that's at the Springfield. 6:15, the doors open. The dinner starts at 7. Tickets in advance are what?
Tickets in advance. It's a benefit.
Okay.
Tickets in advance are $70.
Okay, and if you try to get them at the door,
that's going to be real tough. We need to place our order.
Yeah, there you go.
No, people can go on our website, EugeneSymphonyGuild.org, and the entire information is there with the address to mail their check to, and they need to put on their check their dinner selection, or they can call the Guild member who's taking the reservations, who's Ginger Fifield, and that number is 760-550-0515. But I would really direct people to the website. Everything is there.
All right.
To click on events.
How long have you guys been working on this, to put this together, Larry?
Probably.
You're one of the producers.
We've been at this for probably about a month or so. I think about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Gathering all of our friends together and getting them lined up and choosing musical material that people have done in shows here.
Around town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose idea? Who came up with this, Nancy? Whose idea was it?
It was mine. Ever since I moved here, I had been wanting to do a cabaret show, and 4 years later, now I know a lot of people because I've done shows with them, and it just so happens that I'm friendly with a couple of women from the Symphony Guild who were. One day they were talking about, well, what can we do for entertainment at our fundraiser? And I said, I have the perfect thing, trust me. So that's how it started.
All right. So again, it's coming up on the 13th. Is there a deadline for buying tickets?
November 9th.
November 9th?
Monday of next week, please.
Okay, so that is the cutoff list. It's the cutoff date.
Might go to the 10th, but would really like to know by the 9th.
Okay, so
Commit.
Commit. Come on, just do it. Again, the website.
EugeneSymphonyGuild.org.
All right.
It's going to be an annual thing, correct?
I think so. I mean, we're very excited about
Yeah, sure.
All right, so again, starts at 7 o'clock. Lots of great food. A no-host bar. You're having a no-host bar? Well, it's a good thing you're doing it at the Hilton. Gives people a place to stay. That is the Hilton over in Springfield. Anyway, so Robin Rothstein, Larry Kenton, and Nancy Holloman on the Wake Up Call. Good luck on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully you get a bunch of people to show up for it. It's always great that the Guild doing some good work out there supporting the Eugene Symphony and, I mean, celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. That in and of itself in a community this size is pretty incredible.
Fantastic. We're
Absolutely.
very proud of our symphony.
Thanks for coming in. All right, so again, EugeneSymphonyGuild.org is where you can go to pick up the tickets and try to get it done by the 9th, although Nancy just intimated that, well, maybe they'll extend it out to the 10th. I say just...
Don't push your luck.
Yeah.
Don't push your luck.
Don't push your luck. Don't do that. People will be angry.
You're going to be loitering in your...
Am I going to be loitering?
Sometime today?
That's pretty much how I spend my life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Loitering. Yeah, coming up, noon to 1 today. Once again, we're doing the event with Kendall Auto Group. If you've got a Kendall bumper frame on your car or license plate frame, show up at where we're going to be in Junction City. We're not going to tell you until noon, but I've already just told you, it's in Junction City. It's going to be noon to 1. We should be probably pretty easy to find. And the first 4 people that show up are going to get $50 gift cards, Visa gift cards that spend like cash. They've already been pre-authorized. All you have to do is take them out and spend the things. So join us for that. And, of course, Kendall will match your winning and give $50 to one of the local area education groups. So that's also the Education Foundations in Eugene, Springfield, Bethel, and Pleasant Hill. You get to choose which one you want $50 to go to. So it's a pretty nice thing. I like it.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation.
You get some money, and you know, local kids get a little bit of help.
Hey, look at this. Already Thursday tomorrow. We'll be here 6:05. Hopefully you will be too.
With 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, where will you go? Toyota Care. 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, standard on all new models. Visit your Northwest Toyota dealer today.
Hurry to your Northwest Toyota dealer for the best deals on the best selection of new Toyotas.
Toyota. Let's go places. Covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. New vehicle cannot be part of a rental or commercial fleet. See participating dealer for plan details.
U.S. Bank provides custom solutions to help you grow your business. We take care of the heavy lifting so you can concentrate on what's important. Whether you've just started in a friend's apartment.
All set. Now, if I could just use your printer.
Printer? What printer?
But...
Or opened your first office.
We have a printer.
There goes the printer.
Or if you've recently expanded your office.
Check out all the people in line for this printer.
Or maybe you've opened a new location.
We have so many printers.
Or transitioned your business to new ownership.
I never want to see another printer again.
You'll have a business banker there to guide you every step of the way. Visit your local U.S. Bank branch or usbank.com/business.
I've got a great idea for my next business.
Cool. Print it out and let me see it.
I'm just gonna email it.
Credit products are subject to normal credit approval and program guidelines. Some restrictions and fees may apply. See your banker for details. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank, National Association, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The weather is changing as quick as our wardrobes, and now is the time to replace your old inefficient heating and cooling system with a new Carrier energy efficient system. Pacific Air Comfort and Carrier offers huge factory and utility incentives, tax credits, and rebates. Pacific Air has saved customers hundreds of dollars on their utility bills. Imagine what you could buy with all the money you save. Turn to the experts at Pacific Air Comfort, your local Carrier factory authorized dealer at 541-342-5300. Also online at pacificaircomfort.com.
Everyone else is closed for the winter, but Dieterine Orchards is open through the new year. Get fresh apples, cider, pears, squash, nuts, honey, canned goods, breads, pies, and more. Gift boxes and baskets are available for holiday gift giving. Open daily just 6 miles north of Coburg on Coburg Road. Dieterine Orchards.
It's fall, which means the weather is caught somewhere between winter and summer. Maybe a little bit of both. But as seasons change, your comfort doesn't have to. Because a new heating and cooling system from Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal preserves a comfortable indoor environment all year long. On cool days, you're warm and cozy. On hot, humid days, you feel cool, dry, and refreshed. No matter what it's like outside, inside, you feel great. You know what makes comfortable air feel even better? A great deal. Right now, you can enjoy a rebate of up to $1,700 with the purchase of a new Lennox heating and cooling system. Call Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal at 541-688-5004 and get the perfect all-season comfort of a reliable, innovative Lennox system with up to a $1,700 rebate. Go to lennoxdealer.com/Beamer Heating, license number 4483.
Direct Eat started out as any company does, with an idea. They wanted to create a place where food lovers can discover new tastes, try new foods, shop by dietary preferences, and learn about the newest local and specialty food trends. Those things were missing from the current food space. If you want to be an expert, it took tons of time, research, and money. The Direct Eats team realized that, and they were determined to change it. Today, it's a whole new world. Direct Eats is the largest online marketplace. They deliver the best food at the best prices, guaranteed. And you don't have to live in a big city. Direct Eats goes anywhere across the continental United States. If you want to send your favorite Memphis barbecue sauce to New England or Manhattan's best cookies sent all the way to Oregon, Direct Eats has you covered. They're redefining the way specialty foods are discovered and consumed. And if you're a natural and organic food lover, I hope you're hungry. Direct Eats will make you very happy. So forget the grocery store. Visit directeats.com now to save time and money. Shipping is always free. There's no membership fee and no minimum. This will change your life. That's directeats.com.
There's a lot of things out there that we don't understand. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. And that's why I just love your program.
Kind of a messy job. Hey, somebody's got to do it, right? I'm George Norrie.
George Norrie on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman to save money.
We need a new stuntman.
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Your KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania, where the side effect of saving like crazy may cause excessive high-fiving and a permanent smile.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temps out there right now are on the chilly side in the mid to upper 30s, 35 here in town. We do have fog off and on across the valley. Some spots are thick and others are thin. Now, this fog will burn off by about 11 a.m., leading to partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Highs will only warming up into the mid-50s with a high of 54 here in town. Winds will stay light out of the southwest throughout the day. Now, we are tracking a storm system set to move in late tonight into tomorrow morning, bringing a 60% shot at showers. We're looking at about a tenth of an inch. Not a major system here, but at least a little more rain. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center. Hoping you have a great day.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene.
News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. A police officer's death in Illinois wasn't murder. It was suicide.
There are no winners here. Glenowitz committed the ultimate betrayal.
Just confirmed at a news conference in Round Lake, Illinois, where Fox News Radio's Jeff Manasso is live.
Police of the 2-month investigation into the shooting death of Fox Lake Police Lieutenant Joe Glenowitz is over, and it was a carefully staged suicide, apparently due to personal stresses in his life.
The investigation found Glenowitz had been stealing and laundering money from the Fox Lake Police Explorer Post. This had been occurring over the past 7 years.
Lake County Commander George Falenko says Glenowitz used thousands of dollars on personal expenses. That part of the investigation may include others and is still ongoing, but the coroner's office and the FBI also conclude that the 2 bullets that struck G.I. Joe, as he was called, came from him. Lisa.
Jeff, thanks. It's the first day to file for the first in the nation presidential primary in New Hampshire. Democrat Martin O'Malley first in line, followed by Donald Trump.
We have to take our jobs back from China, Japan, Mexico, all these places that have them. And Ben Carson is not equipped to do that. That I can tell you.
He took some swipes at other rivals, too. Fox News Radio's Bill Marcus is live in Concord.
Lisa, Trump signing the certificate that officially enters him in the New Hampshire primary and presenting the New Hampshire Secretary of State with a certified check for $1,000. Under questioning from reporters, Trump
and he goes on.
Dismissing polls that show him
slipping in New Hampshire. Trump promising an ad campaign to be announced tomorrow that he says will be all positive. He does lead a new Quinnipiac poll with 24%, a 1-point edge over Ben Carson, with Marco Rubio in third at 14%. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Do you have a retirement account? Is it likely to go up 60% or down 60%? Wake up. Low interest rates support the market, and it won't last forever. It's time to hedge with solid gold. You will regret not doing so in the next market crash. Do it right. Don't pay a setup and storage fee. Discover how. Call Goldworth. Request the IRA guide free. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy, it's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-719-2090. That's 800-719-2090. Don't wait. Call 800-719-2090.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
Have breaking Major League Baseball news. Dodgers ace Zach Greinke has opted out of his contract and filed for free agency. Greinke finished 2015 with a 19-3 record with the Dodgers, led the majors with a 1.66 ERA. And Dabo Swinney's Clemson Tigers are ranked first in the first college football playoff rankings of the season. Before the rankings came out, though,
I don't care. Not unless they're going to give me an exemption, like a pass. You know, like in golf, you win a tournament, then you just don't even have to play the rest of the match. You just show up for the Masters because you get an exemption. Unless they're going to come out with an exemption, maybe that would be a great addition. The first poll comes out, and if you're in the top 4, you get you get 2 mulligans or something. Unless they do something like that, no, I really don't care.
Well, I'm thinking now he's probably okay being number 1. Number 2 is LSU. Ohio State at number 3. Alabama rounds out the top 4. Notre Dame and Baylor 5th and 6th, respectively.
Tired of long wait times and high prices at your local boat repair shop? The Boat Dock LLC Marine Repair in Springfield has the fastest turnover. With state-of-the-art test equipment and on-site test tank, the jobs are done right the first time. From simple tune-ups and water pumps to complete repowers on all types of marine power boats, the Boat Dock LLC is the shop to visit at 1252 30th Street in Springfield. A Better Business Bureau accredited business. Visit their website at eugeneboatrepair.com. That's eugeneboatrepair.com.
DocsPad is the real deal. Located at the corner of 7th and 11th, DocsPad features the menu that made the original DocsPad famous. Not bar food, but authentic huge gourmet burgers, signature sandwiches and wraps, traditional loco moco, great local brews and beverages, all teamed up with big screen TVs and a cast of great servers. Not only that, but they're serving food all day long, so you can enjoy their delicious breakfast and lunch options too, like their omelets, biscuits and gravy, French toast, and chicken fried steak. DocsPad, downtown Eugene's only place for karaoke on Friday nights. You know the place.
The Veterinary Hospital is Eugene, Oregon's premier pet hospital, and now we're expanding our hours. We are committed to your pet's health every day, including Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located at 175 Silver Lane, just off River Road, our AHA accredited hospital and team offers comprehensive services ranging from dentistry and chiropractic care to preventive health care plans that have monthly payment options. Call or come visit our friendly team to set up an appointment today. The Veterinary Hospital at 175 Silver Lane. We care about pets and their people too.
Affair of the Heart annually attracts thousands of women who are interested in learning about health and fitness, fashion and beauty, home, hearth, and garden. It's Lane County's premier women's event, and we're accepting vendor applications for 2016 now. Be one of the select businesses talking directly to women of all ages. It's fun and profitable, offering you a tremendous opportunity. Log on to theaffairoftheheart.com to download your application. Please submit it soon to get the best booth selection. Theaffairoftheheart.com, coming February 11th, 2016.
Sponsored by Mackenzie Medical Center.
It's 9:06 and time for Rush. Rush Limbaugh on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Wake up today, maybe you were paying attention last night, I don't know, but you wake up today and you find out what happened. You may not even have known in some parts of the country it was election day yesterday. And if you're one of the ones that didn't, you wake up today, you find out, holy cow, it happened again. You have to be buoyed. If you don't know what happened last night via the election returns, just hang in there because I'm going to tell you. This has to buoy you, it has to be uplifting, and it has to be affirming. These election results last night will affirm every instinct you've got about where this country is, about the majority of the people in this country, and what we're up against. And you know what else? The fact that we can win will be affirmed as well. Welcome, my friends. Rush Limbaugh here behind the golden EIB microphone. Telephone number 800-282-2882. The email address lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. You know, I have been, just a personal item here at first, I've been talking about the National Review 60th Anniversary magazine, the issue, and that the editors asked me to write a piece for it. And that I did, and I've been referencing it a little bit here and there. And the piece was published today at the National Review website. And I have, I'm always amazed by this. Even after all these years, I'm still amazed by it. The feedback I'm getting on this is over the top. And I'm so appreciative of it. I don't know what, no, I didn't think it was... No, what do you know? I didn't think it was not any good. No. I don't know. I'm just pleasantly surprised. I mean, Drudge is linked to it. We put it on our Facebook page. It basically just chronicles the history of this program. And it's a history I think a lot of people have forgotten, so I just put the words on paper. Anyway, thanks to all of you who have shared with me your thoughts and your appreciation, your love, devotion, and your absolute thrills with the piece. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm watching CNN just now, and they ran a little crawl on the bottom of the screen that said something along the lines of Republican voters choose outsiders. That's not even the half of what happened. This wasn't a Republican election last night. Well, unless you determine and wanted to talk about who the winners were, this was a general election. I mean, it was midterm, but it was a general election last night. Democrats and Republicans both voted. It's just that the Democrats lost. They lost in San Francisco, which is hard to do because that's all there are out there. They lost in Houston. They lost in Kentucky. They lost the governor's house in Kentucky for the first time in I don't know how many years. And what's fascinating about it is the polling called none of it. The polling was so off that the pollsters, I have a story here from the 538 website, which is Nate Silver, who is the god of pollster analysis. He was at the New York Times and now over at ESPN. And the headline of the story, what to make of Kentucky's polling failure. Says, here we go again, feels like deja vu all over again. The polls in a major election were off by a wide margin. The surveys leading up to Tuesday's gubernatorial election in Kentucky pointed to a close fight between the Democrat Jack Conway and Republican Matt Bevin, with Conway holding a slight edge in all but one poll. Most of the polls last night, the last polls prior to the election, had the Democrat winning by 5. And Bevin, the Tea Party Republican, won in a landslide, 53 to 44%. So at 538, they're saying, is polling broken and not to be trusted heading into the 2016 presidential election, as some have argued? Remember, Gallup has said they're out of it now. They're not going to conduct presidential polls anymore because their result was so skewed and so different from reality. There's an NBC Wall Street Journal poll that, well, the same poll we had yesterday, but people have dug deeper into it beyond just the presidential horse race. And if you dig deep into the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, then they've got a big story on this, as Americans are angry and uneasy, as though they're shocked about it. There is genuine shock in the writing of this story that the NBC Wall Street Journal poll says Americans are angry and uneasy. That can only be news if you are a mainstream journalist or a Democrat, devoid and distant from reality. And they are, folks. Like the example I gave most recently, Charlie Rose interviewing Marco Rubio. Could not believe that Rubio would have the audacity to say that Hillary Clinton was lying and exposed as a liar during the great week she had during her debate in that Benghazi hearing. Charlie Rose, what does she lie about? Rubio isn't crazy. She lied about the fact that the video was responsible for Benghazi. And Charlie's sitting there for all intents and purposes, it wasn't? No, Charlie, it wasn't. She told one person it was the video. She told a country it was the video, but they're telling leaders of Middle Eastern countries it wasn't the video. They knew it was a planned, pre-planned, and orchestrated terror attack, and Charlie was learning it for the first time. After all that there has been about Benghazi, after all the news there has been about Benghazi, Charlie Rose, who is the dean, one of the deans of drive-by media sophistication today, was literally shocked that Hillary Clinton is telling two different stories about Benghazi. There's another, now this is somewhat related, but it makes the point. New York Post, page 6 today. Carolina or Carolina, I'm not sure how she went, Herrera, the fashionista. And by the way, just a little aside here, I've met Ms. Herrera and her late husband, Ronaldo. They were constant guests at Mr. Buckley's home. I was One of the things I mentioned, a National Review piece that I wrote, published today, that one of the big career and personal highlights of my life was being invited to a National Review editor's dinner at Buckley's home on Park Avenue. And we really became good friends until the day he died. And he was a constant inspiration to me, a validation like you can't imagine, and was always supportive. And I attended many social events at his home, and the Herreras, the Carolina Herrera and her husband Ronaldo, they were always there. I didn't speak to them much, but they were okay. Anyway, she's in the news today. New York Post, page 6. Apparently, the last time Obama was in town, she had trouble getting where she had to go, and of all things, she had to take the subway. Do you know how embarrassing that is to admit? Somebody in the New York fashion business, I mean, the ranking way up there, going to take the subway. I mean, it's like admitting that you eat spam. It's just that's the lower classes do that, but you don't. She had to sit next to the hoi polloi on the... Well, first she had to find out where to go to get on the subway. Then she had to trudge down those steps, and then the filth that she had to say, oh, my God, can you imagine the shock? And being subterranean New York, it's a bit different than getting around in your stretch limo or however. Anyway, all of that was necessary because Obama was in town, had traffic totally blocked, and she was asked, what do you think Obama would do if he knew he had caused you so much trouble? Oh, I'm sure he'd be horrified. I think he would be horrified. It's just typical. These people on the left. Oh, Obama has no idea he's causing all these problems for people. He's such a great guy. He's so in touch. He's got no idea. He'd be horrified to know how tough it is on people to get around when he's in town. This willingness to assign just total ignorance, good works, whatever to people. It continues to amaze me. No matter how often I encounter it, how often I see it. At any rate, the left is in a state of shock today because everything that they think means death for the Republican Party meant victory yesterday. They think discussing the social issues is death for the Republican Party. Discussing them got a man elected governor of Kentucky. They thought in Houston, slam dunk. This civil rights thing on the transgender, whatever it was down there, slam dunk, left's going to win this, going away. They lost big. You can't believe it. They're in shock over this. And it was not just localized in regions, although the South had a great night last night. Other than one state, North Carolina still is an outlier, but for the most part, this was all over the fruited plain, folks. The Democrat Party was rejected over and over and over again. Liberalism was sent packing over and over and over again. Barack Obama, because he's the leader of liberalism in the Democrat Party, by virtue of his association, he was rejected over and over again. Yesterday, candidates who advocated for gun control were sent packing. Candidates who wanted Obamacare expanded were waved sayonara. Even Democrat environmentalist wacko policies were downvoted. People that stood up for the climate change argument, no, the voters just swept those people away as though they were swatting away flies. In fact, a couple stories on that. There's one, solar energy contributes to climate change, some study finds. Did you ever think that you would see that? And then there's this story. This is from the AP. As scientists worry about warming world, U.S. public doesn't. Yeah, see, they're very worried. The things they believe in. The theme of my National Review piece today is that the single greatest consequence of the rise of conservative media has been the destruction of the left-wing media's monopoly. Nothing you haven't heard me say before. But I make the point in print with the written word with examples. And it's the greatest example, I think the greatest consequence of the rise of conservative or alternative media. And the news today is a rubber stamp echoing my belief. They can't believe what's happening out there. They cannot believe, and my point is that the dissolution of this monopoly is what's caused all the partisanship in this country. Because the media used to be able to hide their bias. They used to be able to hide the fact that they're just hacks for the Democrat Party. Used to be able to hide all that behind a cloak of objectivity because they were all there was. The three networks, the CNN, the newspapers, and that was it. But now they can't hide it. They have been exposed, and as such, they have entered the competitive fray, the competition for the hearts and minds of the American people, the way they vote, the way they think, and as such, they've been called out. And that's why there is this new partisan, or bipartisan, or lack of partisanship. That's why everything today is so split. It's because of the left. It's not us. We're simply defending things they are trying to destroy. And the news coverage of the election results last night, you'll hear it. We get the audio sound bites. Some of the news stories accompanying it illustrate the point brilliantly. And here's what's amazing to me, folks, and I'm sure it's not just me. Even after these profound conservative Tea Party, and yes, dare I say, Republican wins last night, where do we find the Republican Party today? The Republican Party is still more inclined to work with Barack Obama and move his agenda forward. Be it amnesty, be it the Export-Import Bank, be it climate change, whatever it happens to be, despite this resounding defeat for Obama and the Democrats and liberalism last night, there is a corresponding aspect too, and that's all these Republican victories last night. As the Democrats lose, Republicans win, and won big last night. The left's agenda has been blown to smithereens once again. And yet the Republicans in Washington, at least the leadership of the House and Senate, seems still more inclined to want to do business with Obama than to represent those who rejected Obama and liberalism and the Democrat Party last night.
Somebody has to have the guts to say it. Rush on the EIB network.
Okay, you all know that I love football, and you probably heard about FanDuel, and you probably have some questions. Well, as one football fan to another, let me lay it out for you. One, it's fantasy football, straightforward scoring. That part of the game you already know. Two, over 1 million fans have already won money on FanDuel, actual cash. Three, there is no season-long commitment. You can play every week, any week, or just try it once. And if you join right now, you can take advantage of this exclusive offer. For every dollar you deposit, FanDuel will match it with up to $200 that gets earned as you play. That's a bonus of up to $200. This offer is only good for the first 100 people that use promo code RUSH today. Don't forget to use that promo code RUSH. FanDuel.com, where it can finally pay to be a fan. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel. Use promo code RUSH and sign up today.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free sample packs of Patriot Powered Greens, go to greens123.com. That's greens123.com. greens123.com.
Your partner in healthcare makes it easy. We take care of your medical equipment needs. Call on us to see you through. We're here for you. Gateway Medical Equipment. We're on your side from the start. Gateway Medical Equipment. The company with heart.
Your mobility is everything. So when you're looking at power equipment, like wheelchairs or scooters, look to the family-owned local company. You have a choice of providers. Gateway Medical Equipment quickly gets you just what you need. We custom fit the equipment, and our accredited technicians repair your equipment after the sale. A champion for your independence. Gateway Medical Equipment.
Gateway Medical Equipment. The company with heart.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Friendly people who treat you right.
Northwest Alternative Health Eugene's premier medical marijuana clinic has a new location. Yes, we've moved to 1675 West 11th Suite B on the corner of 11th and Chambers. Having a medical marijuana card gives you exclusive access to medicine otherwise not available for recreational users, lower prices at the dispensaries, and higher limits for possession and growing. To get your card, drop by our new location or give us a call at 888-920-6076 or visit us online at ommpcard.com.
Money Saver Cards, Coburg Road Car Wash, a quarter-mile north of the Oakway Center.
There's a lot of things out there that we don't understand. It doesn't mean that they don't exist, and that's why I just love your program.
Kind of a messy job. Hey, somebody's got to do it, right? I'm George Norrie.
George Norrie on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
You're listening to You Can Save the Earth with the new EIB Carbon Credit Card.
1120 KPNW.
It would be very hard to exaggerate how badly wrong the polling in Kentucky was on the governor's race there. Matt Bevin, the Tea Party, unabashedly conservative and Christian Tea Party Matt Bevin, wasn't given a chance, even yesterday, even going into the election. And he ends up winning by 9 when he was supposed to lose by 5. But let me give you the numbers, because the story has been since 2010 just how much the Democrats are losing. It's a non-reported story because it's bad news for the Democrats. And it hasn't really, well, there are vestiges of it in Washington, too. It's the most amazing thing. The Democrats are losing and losing like they've never lost before all over the country, and yet the tone, the narrative of news every day is that Democrats are dominant, Obama is loved and adored, and the Republicans are a bunch of fools and idiots and have no prayer. Conservatives are even worse. Let me give you the numbers here. Starting with the 2010 midterms, after that election, the Democrats lost 700 seats. This is governorships, state Senate, state House races, town council. I mean, as far down the ballot as you want to go. 700 seats. After the 2014 midterms, add another 500. They're down 1,200 seats. Now, last night or yesterday, here are the numbers as we start business today. Republicans control 68 of 98 state legislative chambers. Now, for those of you in Rio Linda say, hey, wait a minute, you can't fool us, there's only 50 states. What do you mean, 90? Well, some states have 2 chambers, you see, House and a Senate. Some only have 1. That's a unicameral. That would be Nebraska. But since there are 2, then we're talking basically 100, but minus Nebraska, there's one of their unicameral states, and 98's it. And the Republicans control 68 of them, 2/3. The Republicans control 33 of the nation's governorships. And for those of you who really, you're right, 50. There are 50 governorships in America, and the Republicans now control 33. We're talking grassroots here, which, I don't care what anybody tells you, grassroots remains, I mean, it's named that for a reason. Roots, grassroots, deep, this is where fundamental change begins. This is where it starts, the building process. And this has been going on since 2008. All of this makes it even more confounding why the Washington Republicans have not joined, but rather remain linked with Obama and the Democrats. And don't forget, the Republicans also own the House of Representatives and the United States Senate. But those are separate things. We own them, but the leadership still, as I say, more inclined to do business with Obama than represent the people who elected him. And I'm not exaggerating. There is no pushback. We just signed this 2-year budget deal, which basically sells out conservative voters on the budget for 2 years. And amidst all this, we have the Republican presidential race. And what's happening there comes into even clearer focus now because of the election results yesterday. All this talk, well, Trump and Carson, they're not temporary placeholders. They're going to be gone. No, it's the people at 4% now, like Jeb Bush, and 6% said those are the people going to be getting out soon, not the people at the top.
From the KPNW News Center, here's what's going on. Eugene voters said yes to a 5-year property tax levy going to city libraries. The tax will generate $2.7 million a year. It's supposed to pay for staff hours, equipment, programs, and materials, along with services at the main library and its branches. The Bethel and Sheldon libraries will open an additional 22 hours a week. You'll see fewer marked Oregon State Patrol cars on freeways and highways and more unmarked cars. Lieutenant Bill Fugate says it's an effort to catch more distracted drivers using cell phones.
Marked patrol vehicles, people can see us coming a long ways away, and so we're going to be using these unmarked vehicles to combat the traffic fatalities.
Traffic fatalities are up 31% this year. A conviction in the firebombing of a Corvallis mosque 5 years ago. Cody Crawford pleaded no contest in the case. Authorities say Crawford was motivated by racial hatred after the arrest of a Muslim man accused of plotting to set off a car bomb at a Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Portland. Bill Lunnan, KPNW. The guys at SM Gun Shop hope you're having a successful hunting season. And now it's time to start thinking about the upcoming holidays. Remember SM Gun Shop for all of your gift ideas, from simple things like cleaning equipment to the latest new firearms on the market. SM Gun Shop will be having a huge Black Friday sale. Stay tuned to KPNW for the announcement.
You know, some people like to go the extra mile, but in the Northwest, we go the extra 25,000 miles. That's right, we go 2 years or 25,000 miles with no cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance. It's called Toyota Care, and it's included with every new Toyota. That means oil and filter changes, tire rotations, multi-point inspections, they're all covered for 2 years. And those moments we don't plan for, like locking the keys in the car or getting a flat tire, you guessed it, Toyota Care covers that too. We know that out here, we need to be prepared for anything. That's why in the Northwest, we go with Toyota Care. No cost maintenance and roadside assistance for 2 years or 25,000 miles. Go see your Northwest Toyota dealer today.
Hurry to your Northwest Toyota dealer for the best deals on the best selection of new Toyotas.
Toyota, let's go places. Covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. New vehicle cannot be part of a rental or commercial fleet. See participating dealer for plan details.
Hello, I'm Paul, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is my professor, Dr. Larry Arnn, on the separation of church and state.
America's founders believed in the separation of church and state, in that the country was not to have an official religion or an official sect. But that did not mean that government was to be hostile to religion, or even indifferent to religion, as many today argue. In fact, America's founding document, the Declaration of Independence, includes both a reference to God as the author of the laws of nature and a confident assertion that human beings are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Far from being hostile or indifferent to religion, America's founders understood the theology of the Declaration to be an essential part of the education of citizens.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.org.
Dear John,
I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave. But remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Countless victims of human trafficking walk among us, invisible until now. The Blue Campaign provides a unified voice for those who work to combat human trafficking. It's time to open our eyes. Learn what you can do by visiting dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
Rush Limbaugh and breaking news when it happens. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Now back to this 538 piece. They're really, really worried here about polling. On average, Survey USA and Western Kentucky University missed the final margin in the Kentucky governor's poll by 13.4 and 11.1 percentage points, respectively. 13 points they were off by. They had Bevin getting 40% of the vote. He was going to lose in a landslide, folks, and he won 53% of the vote. His opponent got 44. It was a landslide win for the Republican, predicted to be a landslide loss the day before the election. As they write here at 538, as if the electorate became about a dozen percentage points more Republican between when the polls were taken and Election Day. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder how something like this happens. They're scratching their heads over there. And then they write, it's not yet clear whether pollsters simply projected that more Democrat voters would show up than actually did, or whether undecided voters broke overwhelmingly for Republicans. The former, meaning more Democrats projected than actually showed up, the former suggests an electorate modeling problem that could be a big problem during the presidential primaries when turnout is low. On the other hand, trouble modeling the electorate would be less of an issue in 2016 when the turnout is high. Speaking of modeling, let me go back to global warming for a second. Computer models, and I know, folks, I'm blue in the face saying this, and those of you who are regular listeners hear this over and over again, but you're never going to forget this. You're never going to have to remember this. It's going to be at the front of your mind. The only evidence that there isn't. The only evidence for global warming is computer models. There is no evidence to suggest that there is climate change caused by man taking place. There is none. It's all computer models, and this is why the predictions are always for the next 30 years, the next 50, the next 100. Not for next year, not in the next month. They never make predictions where anybody today is going to be alive to know whether they were right or wrong. In politics, you can't do that. You can't have political polling models that predict election results 30 years from now. You got to do it for this election. If the computer models for global warming missed all of the new ice in Antarctica and the lack of melting ice at the North Pole, what good are they? We had the story this week that Antarctic ice is expanding rapidly, surprising everybody. Why didn't these vaunted computer models predicting global warming predict increased ice? And since they didn't, what good are they? Well, here we come down to the models that the pollsters are using for turnout. And you know as well as I do that they always project two things: that there are more registered Democrats than Republicans, and that Democrat turnout is going to be much higher. And both of those models failed in Kentucky. And now they are scratching their heads over their polling models. We find that polling is nothing more than the same type of thing used to predict global warming. Models. They put together computer models on what they think the turnout's going to be, and then they go find a polling sample to represent that. They don't just choose 1,500 people as scientifically as they can and go ask them what they're going to do and then project results. They have computer models which tell them, well, the turnout's going to be 10%, 15% more Democrat than Republican. The independents and moderates are going to turn out at X, and the Republican turnout's going to be whatever it is, and they always shoot low on the Republican side and high on the Democrat side. Every poll I've ever seen, every sample. And in some cases, the weight given to Democrats in polls is so out of kilter that it can't possibly be true. And this is age-old belief that there are two times as many Democrats in America as there are Republicans. And they put together their model, and then they go get their sample. And what they're writing about, my God, if our models are wrong, oh no, what are we going to do? They're in trouble. And they'd better be looking at their global warming models, too, because it's the same bunch of people. I mean, it's the same people on the left. Some of them are scientists. Well, they're all Democrats. Some are disguised as scientists, others disguised as journalists, others disguised as think tank specialists, others disguised as pollsters. But they're all Democrats. They're all leftists. I say all, 90%. And they put their models together based on their bias. And don't forget, there's something you cannot take out of this equation. That is, they are loaded for bear because they lost their monopoly 30 years ago. And ever since, the greatest consequence of that has been they have now had to fight for an audience which used to be guaranteed and built in. There was no competition for them. Now there is, and they're dealing with it in a very partisan and angry way, and it's creating this huge partisan divide in this country. I'm convinced all of this is on them. Because we're just harmless, lovable little fuzzballs here. For the first time in 30 years, offering opinions and facts different from what they project. You remember the words of Mitt Romney? Oh, it was so much better 25 years ago. Oh, when we all had the same set of facts. And when the Republicans were perennial and happy losers. But I don't want to just talk about Kentucky. Even the Washington Post, from coast to coast, the headline, coast to coast, conservatives score huge victories in off-year elections. And you know, this is another key point, too. This turnout model doesn't hold for presidential race. Presidential race turnout's a whole different thing because that's when all of the bought and paid for Democrat vote shows up, from the unions to the... You just name it, and you have a Democrat on the presidential ballot, and when it's a person and a personality, it's a much different thing than issues being the center piece of an election. The off years, these have been issue-oriented elections, and in those elections, the Democrats are just losing in landslides. In personality elections, they're winning. That's another reason I think people on Republican side are turning to Trump. Anyway, just like the midterms 1 year ago, it was another awful night for Democrats. Republican Matt Bevin won a big upset the Kentucky governor's race. The guy Mitch McConnell beat by 25 points in the 2014 primary will now become just the second Republican governor in Kentucky in 40 years. Democrats failed to pick up Virginia State Senate. Bloomberg and the punk Terry McAuliffe overwhelmingly rejected in Virginia. And even the Washington Post writes here that it was a huge blow to Governor McAuliffe, who went all in to make it happen, to get the Democrats in charge of the state Senate. Democrats could have won by capturing just one seat because of the tie-breaking authority of the Lieutenant Governor, Ralph Northam, but Republicans held every single seat they had. Houston, the Equal Rights Ordinance designed to protect the rights of gay citizens and others. That's not others, it's transgenders. This was pick your bathroom. For all intents and purposes, this was pick your bathroom. Whatever bathroom you want to go in, we in Houston, it was overwhelmingly rejected equal. And so the left gets to run around and say, wow, Houston rejects equal rights. That's not at all what was rejected. Madcap, irresponsible liberalism, social, cultural decay is what was rejected in Houston. And it wasn't even close. Ohio rejected the legalization of marijuana by 2-1. And even in San Francisco, the sheriff who defended San Francisco's sanctuary city policy was defeated. Imagine that. Quick timeout. Can't wait to get to your phone calls and get started on the audio sound bites of all of this. And then we meld the latest presidential news into it. Keep in mind the polls now. What does it mean here? All of these pre-election polls, practically all of them were wrong, and some of them big. So what does that say about polling in the presidential primaries? And Mrs. Clinton is now, in a very mean-spirited way, going after old Bernie Sanders. First, she called him a sexist, and now she's throwing down the race card on Bernie Sanders. It's very fluid out there, folks. It's very unsettled. And with the apparent flaws in polling, everybody, particularly on the left and the drive-by media, is in panic city today because they